away we go. Ladies, gentlemen, boys, girls, children of all ages. The big show is on the radio. This is ESPN Upstate. Hello, Upstate South Carolina. How do you do? Great to be with you one more time again. I am Rob Brown, your ever so humble yet frequently correct, and dare I say, dashingly good-looking host. Back in the network studio, the guy who runs the show. He does everything, ladies and gentlemen. He is the great one, Lonzo, at the helm this afternoon. What do we say, Zoe? Happy Wednesday, big dog, halfway home.
I will say I'm not dashing, but I am rugged.
Ruggedly good-looking. Picks his own. Now he's picking his own adjectives, ladies and gentlemen. That was an accident. Sorry about that.
Was it?
Yeah, I didn't mean to slam into the microphone just because you had the audacity to call yourself rugged.
So here's the thing. If you were watching on the stream, what you can do, you would have been able to tell, did Rob just hit his head and pass out, or did he just hit his water bottle against the microphone? You would have been able to see which one that was.
You know, I like the stream. I like doing the stream at facebook.com/ESPN Upstate, twitter.com/The Rob Brown Show, or on YouTube at The Rob Brown Show. I enjoy doing the stream. We have our own kind of little stream community that's being built up. We've got ladies and gents who check in every day on the stream. We have some fun conversations off the air. We go a little bit more in depth with some of these topics. I mean, when we're on the air, we get 7 to 14 minutes in any given segment to talk about a topic, and obviously there are certain things that we can't say on the old radio that make their way over to the stream. So it's absolutely a great thing. But then I realized after we started it and I was committed to it and went through the work required to get it set up and running, Lonzo, that I had to prepare myself to at least look respectfully presentable on a daily basis.
By radio standards.
By radio standards, yes.
Which are not nearly as high as other standards, but there's still some standards. Yeah.
But they are higher, Lonzo. They are higher than I would like them to be for someone who rolls out of bed, walks 8 steps, and is, quote, at work, end quote. Like, I have to at least put on a hat, lest you see the morning Rob Brown. And the second thing about the stream that is questionable, though, is that I am clumsy, I am goofy, and I am inviting people to watch me in my home on a daily basis to recognize that, right? But you know what I did last night, Lonzo? Just for the folks on the stream. Since I've gotten so much smack talk in return for my the appearance of me sitting on my grandmother's couch because of the paintings hung on the wall behind me, last night, I purchased a 3x5 The Rob Brown Show flag that will hang on the wall behind me to give it a more 36-year-old bachelor who lives by himself and talks about football on the radio as a, quote, real job, end quote, backdrop, just for the folks on the stream to not have to look at my my grandmother's haunted paintings behind me anymore. Zoe, I don't want to hear anybody say that we don't care.
So this is what you're saying is you're going to cover up those paintings. They're still going to be there.
Oh yeah, they're still going to be there for me. There's going to be the little temporary stick-on hooks that are going to go on the wall. So when the show's over, I can take the fly back down and I still have my paintings. But you guys won't be forced to look at my grandmother's couch.
Will the hooks still be visible after you take that down? So if someone visits your apartment, they'll go, man, he's not very good at hanging pictures, is he?
I haven't thought it out that far, Alonzo. I just saw, hey, I can buy my own flag with a Rob Brown Show logo on it. Seems pretty cool. And that's pretty much the depth of the thought processes.
What color is it?
Through my brain.
What color is it?
It's the red background with the black and white logo that has the R going one way and the B going the other way with the microphone in the middle.
Oh, that one. Okay.
Yeah, I think I've shown you. I think you've seen the logo.
It's been up on your social media before. I've seen it.
Yes, correct. It has. So you're gonna get to see that one hanging up. Y'all, it's Wednesday. Plenty to do, plenty to talk about on the show today. Got my first little taste yesterday, Zoe, of Palmetto State rivalry action as I headed up to Doug Kingsmore Stadium on the campus of Clemson in order to watch the Gamecocks and the Tigers get it on. And I got to tell you, Zoe, pretty cool little experience. Ultimately, Clemson would walk out with a victory. South Carolina tried to make it a game late in the game, got to the top of the 8th inning, was able to put a couple of base runners on, and it looked like we might have a rally again in the top of the 9th when South Carolina down 7-2 was able to get a couple of base runners on again. But the name of the game last night were runners left in scoring position, as there were a lot of them. Clemson left the bases loaded in the 2nd inning. South Carolina left a couple of guys on 2nd and 3rd throughout the contest as well. Situational hitting was at a premium last night for both teams in the Palmetto State rivalry. That being said, Lonzo, man, the fans of these two teams, not big fans of each other, like at all. And I'm going to tell you what went down, because there were some spots that I loved it, and there were some spots where I'm like, guys, I think we all need to collectively take a chill pill, if you will. So I'll share that story with you coming up in just a minute. But before we get to any of that, ladies and gentlemen, it is time to do that little song and dance that we do to get our show started.
Let's do lunch.
This is a very nutritious lunch. All the food groups are represented.
You guys are here.
What in the wide world of sports is going on here? Lunch!
It's the lunch breakdown, the 3 things you have to know before you go start talking sports with your friends, family, coworker, or the dog, whoever you spend your lunch break with. Item number 1, it is National Football League schedule release day. Today at 9 p.m. tonight, we will get a look at the entire schedule, but the NFL has put out a few highlight and marquee matchups for the upcoming 2021 season. And we now know that the reigning, defending, undisputed Super Bowl champion Tampa Bay Buccaneers will host the NFL's kickoff game on Thursday, September 9th at Ray J Stadium down in Tampa, and they will host the Dallas Cowboys. This will mark the first time the Bucs will play in the kickoff game, which was the contest that was introduced back in 2002 as our season kickoff every year. Of course, the Bucs coming off the Super Bowl open the next season on Monday Night Football, defeating the Eagles back at Lincoln Financial in 03. Since 04, 16 defending Super Bowl champions have played in the NFL owner, and those teams have gone a collective 13-3. Tom Brady and Dak Prescott will face off for just the second time in their careers. Their first matchup was in 2019 when Brady was still with the Patriots. New England would win that one 13-9. The Bucs have opened as a 6-point favorite over the Cowboys at Caesars Sportsbook by William Hill on Wednesday. We also have a few other games that have been announced. Aaron Rodgers, first matchup back with the Packers, ... if he is, will take place on the road as the Saints will host the Packers, and Sam Darnold, Lonzo, gets his shot at a little retribution right off the bat, as in week 1, the Carolina Panthers will take on the New York Football Jets. Sam Darnold, his opportunity to show New York exactly what they missed out on, will come in week number 1. And you better believe, Zoe, that date, September 12th, is circled on the calendar.
Thank you, schedule makers. Panthers 1-0.
Oh, man. The NFL schedule makers love to put a little drama. They love to put a little drama, don't they? They absolutely do. And that's the way they're going to do it in week number 1. We'll look at some more of the marquee matchups that have been announced. And, of course, tomorrow on the show, we'll have your full breakdown of what the Panther schedule looks like, the NFC South schedule looks like, and more. Item numero dos, a historic Major League Baseball franchise might be on the move. Las Vegas, Portland, Nashville, and Montreal have all been in the hunt for an expansion team in Major League Baseball over the past few years. But it has appeared that baseball is happy at its 30 teams right now and don't have plans to expand. But one of those cities may very well still end up with a new team. How and why? Well, according to Major League Baseball in a statement released yesterday, quote, MLB is concerned with the role of progress on the Oakland Athletics' new ballpark effort with local officials and other stakeholders in Oakland. The A's have worked very hard to advance a new ballpark in downtown Oakland for the last 4 years, investing significant resources while facing multiple roadblocks. We know that they remain deeply committed to succeeding in Oakland, and with 2 other sports franchises recently leaving the community, their commitment to Oakland is now more important than ever. The Oakland Coliseum site is not a viable option for the future vision of baseball. We have instructed the Athletics to begin to explore other markets while they continue to pursue a waterfront ballpark in Oakland. The Athletics need a new ballpark to remain competitive, so it is now in our best interest to also consider other markets. End quote. So this is kind of an interesting situation. Oakland has had 2 teams leave. The Raiders are now in Vegas. And, of course, the Warriors. The Warriors have hopped across the bay and are now in San Francisco. So Oakland only has the A's remaining. Now, there have been discussions ongoing for the A's to get a new park. It has been going on for a number of years. What is interesting about this is it is the first, no, scratch that. It is not the first time that we have seen a city push back against a big league ball club and say, if you want a new stadium, you guys will have to go in on the hook as well. You're not just going to get a free stadium out of the community. And I have asked on this show and others many times, Lonzo, will we get to a point where a community says, you know what, as much as we want a club and all the benefits that come along with having pro sports, we are not going to go into the hole for hundreds of millions of dollars to build them a stadium and let them get off the responsibility. Now, the A's, in the little statement that they put out yesterday, tried to point to a $450 community benefit project that came from allegedly their end that would be reinvested into the infrastructure of Oakland to support the new stadium. And a lot of folks went, well, hey, look, the A's are going on the hook for $450 right there to try to make this a little easier. But Alex Coffey, who writes for The Athletic and covers the Oakland A's, dug into that a little bit and found out that the $450 million worth of community benefits referenced in the A's term sheet for a particular project, the Howard Terminal project, which would give them the ballpark Coliseum, are intended to come from 2 infrastructure financing districts. That is to say, Lonzo, the taxpayers would be paying that $450 million that the A's were trying to sell as an investment back into the community. So long story short, the A's want prime real estate. They want a stadium. They want the city on the hook for the majority of the payment for it, yet they want to own it. And this might be the first time that we have a major metropolitan area say, you know what? Go head on, find yourself a new city, a new municipality, hit the road, Jack, and don't you come back no mo, no mo, no mo, no mo. This is going to be interesting because if the A's were to say, fine, we'll take off, and find another city that was willing to invest, Lonzo, Oakland would go in a matter of 3 or 4 years from a city that had 3 professional sports organizations to a city that has none because they didn't want to pay for a new stadium. Interesting situation.
I know there are people out there who are like, well, the sports are more important because they bring in jobs and things like that. But people are tired of coming out of pocket for some of this stuff. And unfortunately, those guys find a way to make it happen anyway and still find a way to get into your pocket and get your taxes somehow. But I agree. Hopefully this is them taking a stand and it actually working, but they'll go somewhere else and they'll get the money that they're looking for because someone else will be able to manipulate and work things around to get it. And does it help? Does it help the area? Yeah, it does. But at the same time, when you start looking at, okay, I'm paying a tax for this, I'm paying a tax for this, I'm paying a tax for this baseball stadium, and I don't like baseball and I don't have a choice. People get upset about that.
You are spot on. The other aspect of this, the owner of the Oakland Athletics, his name is Jon J. Fisher. Jon J. Fisher is worth $3.6 billion. All right. It would cost for the A's to build a new waterfront ballpark. It is estimated anywhere in the ballpark when you include that community infrastructure project and all that. If Jon J. Fisher was to fund that for himself, he'd come out of pocket about $750 million. Now, that's a pretty hefty chunk of change for most people. But considering the fact that the A's sell all of this merch and everything else, as well as the TV rights and what they get back from baseball, $750 million to a man with $3.6 billion really ain't that much. And the mindset has circled around in past years from if you want to have a club here, we'll come up with it, to, hey, if you want to profit off a baseball club, you build it. If you want to profit off a new stadium, you build it. You have $3.6 billion. That is an absurd amount of money. Why are you taking money from Maria, who works at the local gas station, to pay for a ball club when you could just pay for it yourself and barely have it dip into what you ultimately are worth?
Are you really asking that question, though? The really rich got that way because they're frugal and they know ways to have other people pay for things for them. So I don't fault him trying to do that. That's probably how he got that rich. But it doesn't mean that the people have to stand for it.
That is correct. And I think that attitude is shifted. We'll come back to that later on in the show. Finally, item number 3. We are actually going to push into the next segment because I want to give it plenty of time, and we're already behind on the clock. But players and former players have now chimed in. Yesterday, Lonzo and I gave you our thoughts on the Tim Tebow developing situation down in Jacksonville. Now a number of former players are speaking out, and they are raising an angle that I find relatively interesting because, we always talk about with sports, we always hear the guy that goes, unless you've been on the field, you don't understand. We're going to ask, is that true of this type of situation as well, based on the comments of a few current and former players, including one particular Carolina Panther. We'll tell you who and what they said next. I'm Rob. Lonzo's at the controls. It's the Rob Brown Show on ESPN Upstate.
The Rob Brown Show.
Hello, Miss Lisa. Good to see you. Welcome back. Ben, happy Wednesday to you, buddy. Thanks for checking in. Great to have you, man. As always, we appreciate it. Josh, happy rainy. Yeah, man, what a gross day today is. So I know it's true for everybody. I'm going to ask anyway. The hardest day to wake up in the world. The hardest day to wake up in the world is the day when you wake up and you hear the rain outside, isn't it? Isn't it? When you wake up and you hear that rain hitting the window and it's still dark, the sun's not busted. That's a hard day to get out of bed. It was a struggle this morning for your boy, y'all. A struggle this morning. Brian, I promise you, and this is part of what we're going to talk about coming up in the next segment. One thing, and here's a little preview for those of you on the stream. One thing that I think a lot of people are not taking into consideration regarding Tim Tebow. Hey, Lonzo, do you know where Tim Tebow is from and played his high school football before he elected to go to the University of Florida?
I do not.
That would be Jacksonville, Florida. He's from Jacksonville.
I was unaware of that.
Yep, he's from Jacksonville. He also played his high school ball at a school called Nice High School, which is about 6-7 minutes away from downtown Jacksonville. Jacksonville is Tebow country. It always has been. So this is not just a this is not, in fact, I've swayed to the point, Zoe, of this is not a football move. This is a merchandising move. I understand a lot of players are upset about it, but Tim Tebow is from Jacksonville, and you better believe that if they put Tebow's name on the back of Jags jerseys, that thing's going to sell out in about 6 minutes. I guarantee it. No matter what, even if he never sees the field, that jersey will sell out in about 6 minutes.
Not to mention that, from what I understand, Jacksonville, the people don't really show up to watch the games. Tebow, well, you got Tebow, you got Trevor Lawrence, you got Urban Meyer. People are going to show up to watch games there, and that's more revenue for them. People showing up and the excitement. I mean, there's a quiet buzz around. They may not win a game, we don't know, but man, they're in the news every day, aren't they?
Yeah. What I'm saying, I think it's more a marketing move than a football move, but at the end of the day, the goal is win games and make money, and they're definitely pulling that off.
$30 seconds.
Rob Brown Show is back on your radio. This is ESPN Upstate, coming up at 1:20 today on our Greenville Triumph segment. Ask and ye shall receive. I asked you guys who from the Triumph would you want to talk to today for our segment. And today, Alonzo, we'll be joined by the great Dallas J, the goalkeeper for your Greenville Triumph. After a phenomenal win to go 3-0 on the season, Dallas J will be joining us at 1:20 as the Triumph gets set for their matchup on ESPN2 when they take on Union Omaha. Looking forward to that. All right. Daquan Jones, defensive tackle from the Carolina Panthers, has spoken out about the Tim Tebow situation, and he is the first of a number of players. Tebow, of course, after a long layoff from the NFL of 9 years, he commented on college football for a time. He played AAA baseball for some time. The Jags, of course, signed him on a one-year deal as a tight end. Tim Tebow has caused some, shall we say, ripples in the pond of NFL players. Daquan Jones from the Carolina Panthers tweeted out, quote, "This Tebow deal just shows that personal relationships go further at this level than actual ability," end quote. But he is not the only one who has spoken out so far. Also in the day, Des Bryant chimed in as well. Des Bryant said, quote, "So Tebow hasn't played an NFL game in damn near a decade, and it's that simple? No hate, but you got to be kidding me," end of statement. He then went on to put up another note that said, quote, "Regarding my last post, I knew it would cause controversy, and that was just to get your attention. This is not a slight at Tebow. I'm happy for Tebow and want to see everyone succeed. I'm saying to wake up and see what goes on and take care of yours. Pay attention to what goes on around us and look deeper between the lines. This is why I preach unity in Black society and taking care of us, lifting each other up. It's more than getting together and running routes and casually linking up. It's about truly connecting to build and create, controlling what we can control, and building our community," end quote. Now, as far as Dez is concerned, I don't get it. Right. I've heard a couple of other folks saying that this is white privilege, or this is Tebow getting a chance that black players wouldn't get. And I'm going to tell you the truth. Tebow is getting a chance that other players wouldn't get. But he's getting a chance that every other player wouldn't get. He got this shot not because Tim Tebow's white. He got this shot because he's Tim Tebow and nothing else. Now,
there's a player, and why do I forget his name? Receiver that played for Cleveland and played for and he substance abuse, and he'd be gone for a year or so, and he'd come back and he'd get another chance. I don't know why I forget his name. Josh Gordon. How many chances has Josh Gordon got? Does it have anything to do with privilege or anything? No, it has to do with his talent and the fact, and he can't keep himself clean. But every time he come back, he gets a chance with another team. And there are other players out there that bounce from team to team. They get in trouble or something. They're gone for a while. They come back. People mentioned Mike Vick yesterday. Mike Vick went to prison, come back, and was able to get back in the league. So it's not it's just I don't get it. I don't get what the uproar is over a guy switching to tight end and may not even make the team.
Yeah, and there's one thing I thought, and I agree. I agree with you there. Listen, I am happy to be the bleeding heart woke warrior that some listeners have told me I am in the past when it's time to call out those types of situations. This is not Tebow getting special privilege because he's white. This is Tebow getting special privilege because he's Tebow, all right? Because he's Tebow. And to add on to that thought, I was thinking about this last night when I was reading some of the comments from other folks regarding Tim Tebow, and there's one element of all of this that I forgot to mention yesterday on the show. Let's play the Rob Brown Show Home Edition, shall we? Ladies and gentlemen, 5 points to you if you can tell me where Tim Tebow is from. Where did Tim Tebow grow up? Where did Tim Tebow play his high school football before he selected the University of Florida. Now, I'd ask Lonzo, but those of you watching on the stream, you got a little backstage pass during that last break when we set this segment up. So I'll just go ahead and tell you 3 seconds for your final answer. 2-1. Tim Tebow, ladies and gentlemen, is from Jacksonville, Florida. That is Timmy Terrific's hometown. He's from that area. He played his ball at a high school called Nice High School, which is just outside of Jacksonville, Florida. That is Timmy Terrific's hometown. That's where he cut his teeth before he got to choose between Alabama and Florida, correctly selected the University of Florida, and made his way just a couple of hours south of his hometown and ended up in the blue and orange. So I'm going to say this, Lonzo. This, to me, this is not a football move, all right? This is not a football move. I don't think this was a move that was done in order to make the football team better. Might it? It might. If Timothy Richard Tebow is still in shape and puts that passion and drive towards football that he did towards baseball, then maybe Timmy Terrific can come off as an average tight end and maybe give them some extra options as a gadget player, as a red zone player, etc. Right? I mean, first and goal from the one, if Timmy still got it, which is a question TBD, on first and goal from the one, I don't mind occasionally sending Tebow for a little wildcat FB dive or a little jump pass, sell out on the ISO dive and throw up the jump pass to another tight end. I don't mind any of that. But if we're being honest, this was a marketing move as much as it was a football move. And I think, Zoe, I've kind of gotten to the point that these players are upset because there are only a limited number of roster spots available on game day Saturdays. There are approximately 1,696 roster spots available in total in the National Football League. Of them, we'll say about maybe 64 to 70 of them are tight end roster spots reserved specifically for a tight end, which means there are about 64 tight ends in the league who will get to suit up on Sundays. And the player perspective here, Lonzo, is there are 64 available roster positions for tight ends around the entire league, 64 in total. One of them has just been given away to a non-tight end who hasn't played football in 9 years, which means that somewhere there is going to be a young player who may be more talented than Tim Tebow, who has had a roster spot eliminated from availability in order to put a 33-year-old dude with time in a very long time. TIAA Bank Stadium in Jacksonville, Florida will be sold out. There will be more. I'm going to make this call now, Zoe. There may be more Tebow jerseys in the stands than Trevor Lawrence jerseys in the stand on opening day. If Tebow's on the roster, that is his hometown. That is his home team. I completely sympathize and understand the frustration of the players in this situation, but it is a business decision that makes sense for the Jaguars, not a football decision.
You know, first of all, it just sounds like a bunch of whining. It sounds like people jumping on the boat. Hey, everybody else is talking about this. I want my spotlight too. That's really what it sounds like. Last time I checked, it's May 12th. It is not September 12th. If it was September 12th, then we would know if he actually made the roster or not. And last time I also checked, Tebow's been cut before and didn't make teams. So there's every chance that he comes out there and he's horrible and he doesn't make the team. And if he is horrible and he does make the team, then some people can have some things to say and we'll know that you're right, that it's just about business. And in the end, if he's horrible and he makes the team, That's the Jaguars' decision. I'm not going to get mad about it. You know why? Because he's not going to be the one to cost them a playoff berth. He's not going to be the one to cost them a game, more than likely, because he's going to be a backup tight end. He's only going to be used sparingly, more than likely. And everyone's acting like Jacksonville's going to be so good this year. They were 1-15. They haven't had this much attention since the franchise began. Good for them. Hopefully they're able to do some amazing things with Trevor Lawrence, with Tim Tebow, or without him. We'll see. But I don't get the anger and trying to throw the politics in here and all this kind of stuff. When it comes down to it, training camp hasn't even happened yet. He hasn't made the team. It's not a foregone conclusion. And I do want to ask one question. I know we need to go to break because I haven't heard this. Who approached who? Did Tebow go to Meyer or did Meyer go to Tebow?
My bet would be Urban Tebow.
So we don't. Friends. So we don't know.
Urban Tebow are still. We don't know officially, but Urban Tebow are still friends. So I almost guarantee you this started out as one of those two dudes BSing. Right? It's like when you and your buddy are sitting down at a table having lunch, and then all of a sudden you get up and you just realize you made like 3 months worth of plans. Right? You just made like 3 months of plans and then time rolls around and you're like, oh man, we committed to a lot of stuff. So I would bet you it was just kind of a one-off conversation that eventually Herb was like, well, I mean, we can try it if you want. And Tim was like, yeah, we'll try it if you want. But I do want to say, I completely understand and sympathize with the players in the anger. I do. And I can give you an example and then we'll run to break. Real quick example from our own industry, Lonzo, from our own industry. It is getting more and more difficult for guys like you and I who have put 10, 15, 20, 75 years into this business to get local jobs. And that's one of the reasons I love ESPN Upstate, because they are committed to giving you live local sports talk programming. But a lot of stations are not doing that. A lot of stations have started getting to a point where they are going more and more and more and more syndicated. So you got this guy who's sitting at a desk up in Chicago and doesn't know anything about the conversation that we want to have in South Carolina, and they get rid of their local host in order to just put this guy on the air, and it's a business decision, right? Why pay me X tens of thousands of dollars when you can put Johnny Talks a Lot from Chicago and not pay anything for it, right? It's a business decision. But then there are folks like me and you who go, wait. I've spent 15 years crafting how to be a good radio guy. And now all of a sudden you're going to take me off the air for a few grand? You're going to take me off the air to save a few grand when I put that much time and energy in it? That's what these players think. Because yes, it is a training exercise. Yes, it is. But here's the thing, Lonzo. If Tim Tebow is on the camp roster where the numbers are still limited and he's trying out for tight end, that means there is one guy out there who will not get a shot to try out for tight end. I'm not saying that Tim wouldn't be better than that guy. He might be the better option.
Welcome to life. Welcome to life, whiners. That's what it's like. Unfortunately, life is not always fair. Wow. And if this is unfair to you, be better.
That's a big change of pace from last week's NIL conversation, Zoe. We may have to, we're not circling back around to that. I need a break from that. Rob Lonzo, you, ESPN Upstate Sunday Radio.
Just say play ESPN Up.
All right, we got Dallas J lined up. Here's the thing, Keegan. You can hang on to that nickname because even if Tim doesn't work out, keep in mind who one of the running backs is going to be. You got Travis Etienne down there too. So you can have Trevor and Travis or Trevor and Tim or Tim and Travis. I mean, TNT and T is not as much fun, but I like the idea. You know what's weird about the Tebow thing? You know, the one fan base, and this is a good point from Josh, the one fan base I haven't really heard talking about this at all are Jags fans.
Do you know any Jags? Well, you might.
I know a handful of Jags fans.
Being from you're from Florida, I mean, it would help you to know some, but I don't know any.
I know a couple of Jags fans from my time in Jacksonville, which was miserable, and I hated it. And the majority of them are just like, I guess we'll see. I hope it works out. Like they're not over the moon about it. It's honestly, Zoe, it's the older fans that seem to love Timmy Terrific the best. The older fans really love the guy. But they're also the ones that don't go to games. So I don't know. It'll be interesting. Afrin break, BRB.
All right, so Rob mentioned that the older folks are the ones who don't go to the games, but I think it would be more like haven't gone to the games, because if they are big Tebow fans and he makes the team, then maybe they do show up for a game.
That's very fair.
For the chance to actually see him play as a pro.
But that's the point, right? That's part of why I think this is a marketing decision, not a football decision. If you're a team that has a problem selling tickets, and the Jags are bringing in a dude who sells tickets because folks want to see him in the hometown, makes sense as a business move.
Absolutely makes sense. And in the end, no matter how upset people get, the NFL is still a business. And they're going to operate it however they feel to make money wherever they can.
Just to clarify, did Tinky Winky call him something? No. You missed it. I'm saying I get called a bleeding heart and a woke warrior by my listeners all the time. And I found, Zoe, when people start throwing that stuff at you, the easiest way to make it go away is to just lean into it. Just accept that title, and it becomes less fun to call you that.
Well, in most cases. In this case, I don't know, man. I don't know. Hopefully the opportunity won't arise for us to find out.
I mean, I really don't care if you call me that. Like, it doesn't bother me. If that's a curse word to you, I don't know.
Well, to me, ideally, and idealist is what I am. When I listen to sports radio or news, for that matter, I have no idea which way they're leaning politically. That is perfect. That is awesome. That means no politics have crept their way into what we're talking about: sports, entertainment, fun stuff. I'm okay with that stuff going away.
Do you think there comes a point, though?
Make it quick.
Do you think there comes a point where as a sports host, you don't have a choice but to get into some of that stuff? Is there any point where you don't
messing around? Real, unfiltered.
You can always decide not
on
to.
The Rob Brown Show, ESPN Upstate.
The Rob Brown Show's right here on the radio. This is ESPN Upstate. Made a good point. And look, Zoe and I both said neither one of us has a major problem with Tim Tebow being signed. I want to throw that out and be very clear about it. I don't think either Zoe or I has a problem with Tim Tebow being on the roster. All right, none at all. I think it's mostly a business decision. The Jacksonville Jaguars have a tough time selling tickets. In fact, 2 seasons ago, the Saints played at Jacksonville when I lived there. I bought a ticket. Lonzo, I bought a ticket to an NFL game. It was a 1:00 kick, but I bought a ticket to an NFL game in Jacksonville to go watch the Saints play the Jags. I got it before the game. About $17. And frankly, if I'd have spent a little more time and waited till kick, I could have got it cheaper, but about $17.
That's kind of embarrassing.
Yeah. They don't sell tickets. All right. Now, granted, they were really bad 2 seasons ago. Also really bad last year.
I was going to say, yeah, that was a much improved team last year.
But here's the thing. They don't care what colors you wear when you buy the tickets. If you buy the tickets, I almost guarantee you, if Tim Tebow's on that roster on opening day, they're going to sell a lot of them. They're going to sell a lot of them. Because Florida fans, of which Jacksonville is full, are going to want to go see their guy give it a shot one more time. Keegan says, would you compare it to Pat McAfee getting a job at SmackDown? Did he take the spot of someone who's been working his way up announcing, but because Pat is known, could it be seen as a marketing thing? Is that relatable or too much of a stretch? It's very relatable, Lonzo. You don't even have to go to Pat McAfee. You can, well, that's not true. I'm not as good of an example because even though I did have to know somebody to get this gig, I'd also been in the game for 15 years. It wasn't like I was out of the game for 9 or 10 years and made it a comeback.
But you were out of the game some.
I was out of the game when I got the call. Yes. I was out of the game when I got the call. Not for that long, a handful of months, but I was out of the game when I got that call. I was doing spot work for a station in Jacksonville until they had let me go. So, yeah, I was out of the game. So I mean, I guess it's a light comparison. I don't have an issue with that if we're just going to be honest and call it what it is, a business move. That's why the old phrase, it's not what you know, but who you know, is spot on accurate. Tebow got it because he and Herb are boys. But I also promise you, Lonzo, that if Tim Tebow, after his playing career, had ballooned up to 280 pounds and was more known for his food endorsements than anything else, if Tim Tebow didn't work to keep himself in top-tier athlete shape, he wouldn't be on the Jags roster.
You know, Rob, it's a short distance between tight end and tackle. I'm just saying.
Yeah, I know. It's about 30 pounds in some cases.
And five food endorsements.
Which is why I describe myself on my old online dating profiles as more offensive tackle than defensive end. All right? It is what it is. All right, let's take a break. Let's wrap up this hour. If you want to continue commenting on this, you can. The Ingles Market text line is open at 71307. Text line, I totally get the hate for Tim Tebow because we are living in the culture hate era, amplified, cultivated, and encouraged, period. It has nothing to do, oh, this makes me sick. Neil, with all due respect, it doesn't have anything to do with hatred of Tim Tebow. That is the worst talking point. Nobody's saying this because they hate Tebow. And if you think that's what you're saying, you're not listening. We can address that later on the Rob Brown Show. It's ESPN Upstate.
Prisma.
The Rob Brown Show. Listen on your Amazon or Google smart speaker. Just say, play ESPN Upstate.
Prisma Health is committed to your safe care. That is why not only can you go to their website at prismahealth.org and schedule an appointment at a time and place that is convenient to you, but on top of that, you can schedule a virtual appointment. That's right, ladies and gentlemen. You can schedule a virtual appointment where you can talk with your doctor right over your computer screen and not have to leave the safety and security of your own home. They understand that for some folks who are still dealing with a compromised immune system or other health issues that make it difficult for them to get out and about, you can have that face-to-face right there with your doctor without leaving your own home. And it's just one of the many ways that Prisma Health is taking the extra step to make sure that you are safe as we continue to fight the COVID-19 pandemic. Go to their website at prismahealth.org. You can find a convenient, safe location there. You can search through their more than 2,400 medical providers so that you don't have to go to appointment after appointment after appointment to find the doctor that you want to visit. And their MyChart function keeps all of your healthcare information right there at your fingertips, streamlined and organized, so you can know what you need when you need it, and your doctor can too. Go to prismahealth.org, prismahealth.org to learn more. Prisma Health, the official healthcare providers of Clemson and South Carolina. Prisma Health right here in the Upstate.
From the 106.3 WORD Weather Center, here's the Upstate's most trusted forecast on ESPN Upstate's. High in the mid-50s this afternoon, cloudy with areas of rain. Tonight, mostly cloudy, low near 46. High at 67 on Thursday. Sunny to partly cloudy. Chance of an isolated shower in the afternoon. I'm meteorologist Laura Lockwood on ESPN Upstate. Right now, 49.
Sometimes reaching the radio is hard.
I'm real comfy under these covers and I can't reach the radio.
Then throw on a robe and get out of bed.
Well, I never.
Then maybe you should.
Alexa may be sassy, but she can help as well.
Just ask it, I will play the radio for you.
When you can't reach the radio, ask Alexa to play it for you. Alexa, play ESPN Upstate.
Okay.
And listen to the Upstate sports leader without moving a muscle.
Great idea until atrophy sets in.
ESPN Upstate.
Pain creeps up on you. It starts with slight discomfort and inflammation. You wait for it to go away, but it gets worse and worse. Now it never stops, and the pain has zapped your mobility. You're out of options except for surgery. Well, stop right there. You have another choice for relief. QC Kinetics. When you visit QC Kinetics, Dr. Richard Schaefer, MD, begins the process with orthobiologic treatments in the office. These stem cell therapies help jumpstart your healing without surgery or drugs. We're talking about medical breakthrough pain treatments that stop the pain once and for all. Patients who never thought they'd see an end to the pain are telling everyone they know about their astonishing recoveries. Or maybe you strained a muscle lifting something, twisted a knee or ankle exercising, or just over time, you
So did someone pay to have a song done or something?
Check out QC Kinetics orthobiologic solutions that relieve the pain through treatments right in the office.
Are you sure? Are you sure? Are you sure there's no money that Chase has?
448-3772. That's 864-448-3772. Call 864-448-3772. Owning your own land is something you've always dreamed about, and now it comes true. Huff Creek Properties is the land division of NAI Earl Furman. Tripp, Dallas, and Ellis are your land experts in the upstate. If you're looking to buy or sell land, contact them at 610 Land. Want to build your dream home, fish in your own private pond, enjoy a hunting retreat on the weekend, or you just want some room to roam. Huff Creek Properties has multiple mini farms available now in Greenville, Spartanburg, and Anderson counties. Call Huff Creek Properties today, 610 Land, or visit HuffCreekProperties.com.
Moving is stressful enough without worrying about your movers being difficult and careless. I'm Mike Wright with the Moving Gurus. We are friendly and care about your move. We are affordable and move both local and long distance. Available 7 days a week.
I'm just saying, I don't think it's above the man show to pay to have things done.
I absolutely love my dog, but the constant shedding, not so much.
Which is a concern of mine for something else, by the way.
And it is amazing.
Something that we finished yesterday.
Super thick cloths pick up a crazy amount of hair. Just look at all that. And that was from just one swipe.
You think that's a thing?
And the best part?
I'm really big into conspiracy stuff.
And under the couch.
I also am aware of the person that we're talking about. So are you. So there has to be a little bit of belief that it could happen.
Spotless reputation.
Take care of the windows.
You can just nod if you
But
or
his business
shake your head.
operations refuse a light dusting.
I had you scheduled for next week. I'll just check here. No, absolutely.
I apologize for the commercials playing. I blame Rob for not telling me that they were playing.
That's fine. I get blamed for most things. So, what's new?
Obviously, it's my fault. But in this case, it is my fault.
I mean, I could have told you. So.
Well, it's good. Teamwork,
Yes.
Makes the dream work.
Makes the nightmare work.
20 seconds.
The Rob Brown Show rolls on. This is ESPN Upstate. Neil has texted into the show. Last text said, I totally get hate for Tim Tebow because we are living within the culture hate era, amplified, cultivated, encouraged, period. I said, I disagree. He said, no, Rob, with due respect, I clearly said the hate is because we live in a culture of hate era now, meaning Tim Tebow is its newest victim. No encouragement, no compliments, no feel-good story. Our world embraces hate now. I hope that's clear feeling it was before. I hope that's clear feeling it was before, too. I don't know. I mean, I get what you're saying. But
I think he has a great point because I haven't really thought about this. This should be a feel-good story. I mean, someone who's been out of the league, getting an opportunity to get back in, who's willing to change positions, and this should be, I mean, should be up for a comeback of the year award or something like that. And instead, it's all this negativity. Nothing about, man, I hope he makes it, because that means someone who's been out of the game, no matter what the game is, can get back in and take a shot and make it. But no, we get negativity.
I get the direction that sentiment comes from. I understand the direction the sentiment's coming from, but I think it's also unfair to take when someone else has an issue with something and go, oh, you only feel that way because you hate. It's hate that makes you feel that way. If I'm a tight end who's been working for 6, 7, 8 years and done everything that's been asked of me, and Tim Tebow gets a position, because here's the thing. Tim Tebow did indeed get this position because of who he knows. All right. Are we on the same page with that, Lonzo? Tim Tebow got this job because he's buddies with Herb. Absolutely. Okay. And that's not a bad thing. Okay. I mean, because it happens all the time. We talked about that. Right. Didn't say it was a bad thing. Just said that's a fact. If I've been working my whole life to try to, it sounded negative the way you said it. I just want you to know that. It can be, right? If you've been working your whole life to get on a roster and then you don't get an opportunity because this guy who's buddies with the boss got it. Yeah, we all know that's part of how the game gets played. Doesn't mean you have to like it. We all had the boss's kid we hated when we were growing up. Doesn't mean you're a hateful person. It just means that you hate the situation. Quick break. Really, really great moment from Mark's show yesterday. When we come back on the Rob Brown Show and ESPN Upstate.
ESPN Upstate, WYRD Greenville.
Golf card in the first break.
Golf card in the first break. Pardon me, literally everyone within hearing distance.
Bless you.
Oh, that one hurt a little bit, Lonzo. Oh.
Still not the loudest sneeze I've heard.
Is that you? Or are you taking credit?
No. I was discussing someone who used to share an office with us.
That's right. Captain America Chris Evans down the hall
could rattle the doors
alarms with his sneeze.
Yeah, it's bad.
Like do your allergies kick up when it's raining, Lonzo? Like, I don't know why this is happening today.
The maintenance came in and changed some stuff around for you, right?
Yeah, my air filter. Oh,
just saying.
Check my air filter. I hate conspiracy theories until there's one that I'm entertained by, Lonzo, and then I'm full in.
Warning.
Man, check this out.
You're on official Rob Brown lockdown.
Represents being real. Yeah.
Real, unfiltered sports talk manufactured locally for the Carolinas.
Lockdown.
This This is the Rob Brown Show.
Yeah.
Only on ESPN.
ESPN Upstate.
Let's get to it, ladies and gentlemen. The second hour of the Rob Brown Show is on your radio. This is ESPN Upstate. What's happening, y'all? Great to be back with you. I am Rob Brown. The great one, Lonzo, is at the helm this afternoon. Spectacular as always to be with you here on the broadcast. 844 GSP ESPN 844-477-3776 is the number. The Ingles Market text line open for you as well at 71307 71307. Start your text with ESPN so we can read them on the air, and we'll be happy to do so. I have to give credit for a moment that happened yesterday on Offsides with Mark Ryan. I love this job and I love this industry. And a good chunk of the reason why I love this job in this industry is because of the people in the moments, right? The people in the moments. And I'm not just talking about athletes and sports moments. I'm talking about stuff that happens around us in our atmosphere as well. So if you have not been listening to Offsides with Mark Ryan, which airs every single afternoon from 3 to 7 p.m. right here on ESPN Upstate, Mark has been talking about the mistakes that have been made by Bob Caslin, the president of the University of South Carolina.
No, wait. Has he? Just like one segment, right?
Yeah, just sporadic.
Just here and there.
Spot discussions.
Yeah, because he wouldn't discuss it ad nauseum.
Spot discussions. So Mark's been talking about the mistakes of Bob Caslin, the president of the University of South Carolina, and there are 3. The first one is that at his commencement speech this past weekend, he plagiarized about 2 minutes of another commencement speech from a few years back. Second, Bob Caslin called USC California, the University of California, which, by the way, I have to tell you, Lonzo, remember when this happened? And on Monday, I was like, South Carolina fans, I need you to be prepared because the Clemson fans are going to be running this joke at you for a very long time. Yesterday, though, I'm at the Clemson, South Carolina baseball game, and the PA announcer says, next up to bat from the University of California. Oh, my God. The PA announcer at Clemson is calling the Carolina players California players.
Well done. Absolutely. Now, will it still be around come football season?
Dude, it will be around come football season 2032, buddy. It's not going anywhere.
A couple of days ago, well, it was yesterday when we talked about you going up there. So did the PA announcer absolutely sound like that? I'm just curious.
Yeah, he did a good job.
Okay.
He did a good job.
So he went all deep and okay. All right.
I mean, not like over the top, but yeah, I mean, you could tell he was
so
the PA inflection on.
Not as good as you, but he's all right.
No, obviously, so, but let's be honest, who is as good as me?
You know right.
It's a short list of people that are as good as me.
It was an opportunity to praise, man, and that's what I'm all about.
I appreciate it. You're so kind and generous. I don't care what anybody says about you, but neither do you. So who cares? So anyway, yes, he called it. They said from the University of California, which was absolutely hilarious. Anyway, so Mark is talking about this, and there is a young man who listens to our shows. His name's Jacob Smith. On Twitter, he goes by @PlaidFalcon. Give him a follow @PlaidFalcon. And he, after Mark made a crack about how U of SC is not like Cheers because the president doesn't know your name, Jacob put together a little song that he contributed to the show.
Let me ask one more question. And this is this parody or is this original?
This is a parody.
Because I'm not quite sure about the streaming. So
no, we're good. It's a parody. It's like a 30-second parody. I think we're good. So Jacob came up with this. And I got to tell you, I was on the road to Clemson last night when this got played by Mark and Diesel on Offsides with Mark Ryan. And I wanted to play. I don't often, Zoe. I don't often take stuff from Mark's show and make it a segment because, hey, we want to be two different shows. That was the point. But this, I was driving to Clemson with the lady friend, and we were in the car cracking up at what Jacob put together. Here it is. Here's Jacob Smith with his rendition of the South Carolina song. Oh, well, no. And of course it skipped back to from where I needed it to be. Let me try that again. Why wouldn't it? Why wouldn't it? Well, I guess though we're going to get to hold that off because, the button skipped where I needed it. Oh man, I done blew up a segment for no reason. You got to be kidding me. You can now. I got to find it, Lonzo, because I can't go on.
I just want to say that I have nothing to do with this. There's no way possible that it could be considered that I sabotage this in a way where you couldn't play something off of Mark's show, because I would never do such a thing, and you're playing it on your end. And so I don't want anyone to think that it was me. Am I capable? Would I do it? Absolutely. But I did not do it.
No, he didn't. But I found it anyway. Here's Jacob.
After last year that everything's a lot, so I won't be the one that's judging an extra glass of scotch. But hey man, it's commencement day. I know that public speaking's scary enough as it is. 4 decades in the military beats talking to kids. But when you're paid that kind of dough, some things you gotta know, like maybe your college's name, or who the preacher said to praise. Take a wild guess, you gotta know that all these kids remember what they paid. You gotta know why everybody hides in shame. Making your way in the world today takes everything you got. But I know parody's okay and plagiarism's not. 300 grand a year we spend. What coast is this again? And things get worse on Saturday. You guys somehow went to an 8. Worse than Arkansas. I kinda like this Beamer guy. I hope that he does okay. But it doesn't look good cause you don't even know your name. How do you fix mediocrity? Look at the top, I'd say. But I wouldn't know cause I'm a fan of UGA.
Absolutely magic, Jacob. Absolutely magic. That was freaking fantastic. Are you kidding me? That was fantastic. A great run, done with good humor, well put together, and on top of that, a nice little guitar on the back end of it. Absolutely fantastically well done. Zoe, I had to tell you, man, I heard that yesterday, dying laughing on the road down to Clemson, listening to that. Good-natured trash talk will never go away, and that was about as good as I have ever heard.
So apparently, Mark Ryan was singing along on his show, according to the messages I'm seeing. I'm glad you didn't play that version, because no one needs to hear that again.
Yeah, no, not at all.
He's a heck of a horn player, though. So he's got that.
Old trombone Marky. You know it, man. He brings the heat. Dude, Jacob did such a great job with that. I like I said, I'm driving down the road yesterday, listening to this song play and just losing my mind laughing at it. It was that good. I loved it. So Jacob, well done. Give him a follow on Twitter at Plaid Falcon on the Twitters. I don't think that you will regret it if you do. I don't know, man. I like I said, I just, as soon as I heard that, I'm like, this is gold. This is radio gold. And by the way,
unfortunately, there's just way too much truth in it, and so I'm slightly offended. But it was pretty funny.
But that's why it's so good, right?
And like that's how parody works. It has to offend somebody and has to have enough truth in it. Yeah.
If you're a Carolina fan, Zoe, how do you come back from that? The answer is you don't, because he absolutely puts you up against the wall, man.
Well, there's one way you come back from it. The team actually. The football team does well. Yeah. The football team comes back and does well. That's a comeback. As far as the president goes, there's no fixing that.
No. There's nothing you can do there. Even if you're a Carolina fan, your only option at that point, Lonzo, is to give the old Derek Jeter hat tip of respect. You got us. There's no coming back from that. Thanks for taking the time. There's nothing you can do there. That's why it made it so great. Absolutely fantastic piece of art from a man, Jacob, there. Again, at Plaid Falcon on Twitter. And by the way, so I'm going to need at some point for us to go raid the old prize cabinet, because now I want a parody song contest on the show. Now I want a parody. I know we have musicians that listen to the show because I've talked to y'all. Zoe and I are both musicians, so I know that we're all in cahoots here. Zoe, you're not one who strays away from the parody songs yourself. Well, more singing them in other characters' voices. But
I've written them too, so yeah, I appreciate the parody. Trust me, I have a wonderful rendition of Garciaville. Someday you'll get to hear.
Can't wait. I think we need a listener parody song contest. I will go so far of the old cop-out radio show host way of giving prizes away, which is we may do a weekly parody song contest. Winner gets dinner from me because it is that good, man. Well done, Jacob. Well done. Quick break. We're back after this. Rob Alonzo, this is ESPN Upstate.
Golf card.
Yep.
The Rob Brown Show. Listen on your computer and tablet at ESPNUpstate.com.
The 2021 Upstate Golf Card is on sale now. Ladies and gentlemen, for $99, you are getting rounds of golf at not 1, not 2, not 3, not 4, not 5, not 6, not 7, not 8, but 9 of the most prestigious golf courses around the Upstate. That is right, ladies and gentlemen. You get the Upstate Golf Card in your wallet right now, and you are getting to play 9 of the most beautiful courses around the Upstate for just $99. That is less than $15 a round. That is less than $1 a hole. You're not going to find a deal better than that anywhere at all. I promise. Go look. You're not going to hurt my feelings if you go look. You're not going to hurt my feelings if you go look. You're not going to come up with a better deal. So get yours now because supplies are limited. They will go fast. Go to upstategolfcard.com, upstategolfcard.com. Pick one up for you, the friends, the family. There's no better way to get out and enjoy the beautiful spring weather of the Upstate than the 2021 Upstate Golf Card. Go to upstategolfcard.com to get yours. That's upstategolfcard.com.
AutomotiveMap.com.
Can't wait to see if there's flagging involved.
There won't be.
There shouldn't be, but you don't know until you try. So,
because your fair use lets you do parody, right? Fair use lets you do parody. I would expect we're covered under that.
Well, I made sure I asked the question so it was pointed out
Fair.
very, very succinctly that it was parody. So we could contest probably because we pointed out right away.
100%.
Dallas J standing by.
Perfect.
Keep trying to get you to listen to my Garciaville, and I still haven't gotten you to listen to it yet. I'm telling you, you're going to enjoy it.
Where can I find it?
I've sent it to you once before.
Have you?
Yes, I believe I have, but that's fine.
That means it just got lost in the email pile.
This was during the heyday when Garcia got benched for Connor Shaw. And so we wrote it to Margaritaville. And at the time, it was the most watched video on WORD for like, I don't know, a couple months.
I will 100% go find it.
I will find it and send it to you again so you can forget about it. But see, now I've hyped it up to the degree that there's no way that you're going to like it. So
I hardcore disagree.
1 minute.
My headphone wires are getting all crossed, man. This could be problematic.
Come back.
Hey, Rob can read. So he says. Email Rob Brown at ESPNUpstate.com and we'll put him to the test. This is the Rob Brown Show. Local sports talk on ESPN Upstate.
Every Wednesday at 1:20 in the afternoon, we feature your reigning, defending, undisputed USL League One champion, Greenville Triumph. And by popular demand this week, we took a fan vote to ask who the folks wanted to hear from as the Greenville Triumph come off their third victory in 3 efforts, 3-0, 9 points, top of the table, and with an enormous match coming up this weekend on ESPN2 against Union Omaha. The people have spoken, and now we welcome to the airwaves the great Dallas J, goalkeeper for your Greenville Triumph, to talk a little football with us. Dallas, man, it's been a minute. Great to have you back on the show, buddy. I appreciate the time.
Thank you, Rob. I appreciate it. Always great to be here. And for anyone driving out there right now, be safe. It's pretty crazy out there in the upstate today.
Yeah, we've been keeping an eye out. It's a little. Did you guys? You guys got out and trained. Did y'all go out and train in this today?
We were out there full-fledged. You have fun with it when the weather's like this. It almost takes you back to your childhood, and then the reason you started playing this game, you get to run. For me as a goalkeeper, running around, jumping in puddles, jumping in the mud. That was very much on display today, so we made the most of it.
Love it. Commitment to the gig, man. I respect it. Dallas J, goalkeeper for your Greenville Triumph, joining us here on the Rob Brown Show and ESPN Upstate. I want to get into some of the games game by game, including the most recent 2. But before we do, Dallas, 3-0, 9 points, top of the table. You guys have faced a little adversity. You had to spend back in week 1 against Richmond a little time down a man, which I can't imagine as a keeper what goes through your mind when you see Cesar Murillo get sent off with a red card, one that I wasn't in love with, not the second call, but the first yellow card was a little questionable. But as a goalkeeper, when you're in a spot like that, your team goes down a man in a match that's 0-0. You guys were, for the most part, controlling possession, but certainly seemed like level play both directions. How do you approach that? What do you change up as a goalkeeper when you've got adversity like you did back in that first match?
Yeah, it was definitely a crazy way to sort of start off the 2021 campaign. You know, you're on the road. You kind of have that first game jitters. Everyone's trying to get back into the swing of things. Richmond had already had a game under their belt at that point, so they were maybe a little more tuned into things just because they had already started their season. But, you know, started the game off well, and you see Cesar unfortunately get set off. Like you said, maybe a questionable yellow somewhere in there. But, you know, as players, we benefit, I think, from our coaching staff. We play numbers up, numbers down situations all through preseason. So when it did happen, it was something, all right, let's get our bearings straight. We've seen this before in preseason. We work on these types of situations. So let's get our defensive line set. Let's focus on that first. And at least in that game, it was all right. Let's get into half. I think it was about 10 minutes before the half is when we got the red card. So let's get into the half. We'll regroup, come out in the second half, and put on a strong performance. And that's what we were able to do. So I think they only had one shot on goal, even us being down a man. So that's just a credit to the defensive work that all 9 field players at the time on the field did that day.
Dallas J., goalkeeper for your Greenville Triumph, joining us here on the Rob Brown Show on ESPN Upstate. So week 2, you go back home, back in front of Legacy Early College. I was at that match, Dallas, and I got to tell you, and I wonder if it was the same from your perspective. Man, did it feel good to have the supporter section with the drums and the banners and the flags and the smoke? Did it feel good to have a bunch of people back in Legacy Early able to let a little energy out? And I can't imagine there wasn't a little bit of feeding off of that in a 4-0 rout of North Texas. How did that match make you feel?
Oh, that was a special occasion. You know, just from the start of the game, getting to be back in our home stadium with the fans, unveiling the 2020 championship banner before the match. So a lot of cool things that went into that game, and getting to enjoy it with the fans being there is special. And then the match itself, you know, we benefited from a really strong start. Guys came out flying. Big part of that is having our supporters, the Reedy River Riot, all the other fans there backing us. And that I think that's the reason, you know, we came out flying. 2 first half goals. You go in at halftime, you make some changes. We were able to get a couple guys, some new guys on the squad, their professional debuts, club debuts. So just a real great occasion all around. And I think it's a kind of a continuation of 2020 for us, where we really want to be a strong, almost unbeatable team at home. That's the focus. Last year, I think we only had 1 loss from all our home matches. So we want to look to continue that trend this year and make Legacy a fortress.
Dallas J., the goalkeeper for the Greenville Triumph, joining us here on the Rob Brown Show and ESPN Upstate. And that game, to me, Dallas, kind of illustrated something that, and I've asked everybody who's come on the show so far, because I was, for whatever reason, it kind of struck a chord with me. We had John Harkes on about 2 weeks before the regular season kicked off. And Harksey said, here's the deal. We're not coming out to defend the USL League One championship trophy. We are coming out to attack and win another one. This is not enough. We're not satisfied with defending. We want to get another one. And maybe it was just me reading into that performance too much, Dallas. I want you to answer this from the player's perspective, but it felt to me like that team that took that 4-0 win at home, it felt to me like that team had kind of embraced that philosophy. They weren't happy to go out there and get a good enough win. They wanted to go put, you guys wanted to go put what you believe you are capable of on display. Has that philosophy from John Harkes kind of filtered down through the club, and were you feeling it that night during that big victory.
Absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. Coach Harks has definitely been adamant on, not just the culture we've built here at this club over the past couple of years, but the mentality going into this season. And, for me, it's and several other guys, it's third season here. Been here since the start, but every year, every group, every team is new. So we're still finding out who we are, who we want to be as a team. And that game against North Texas, I think, was very telling of where, the style, the ideas, the type of team that we want to be this year. Attacking flair, very stout defensively, kind of continuations on things from the past, but with its own, nuances to this group. So, I think that was a complete 90-minute performance for the most part. Something we look to do week in, week out. It'll happen some weeks. It won't happen other weeks. That's just the nature of the game. But to go out in front of our own fans first home game of the year and put on that performance is a special feeling, because it's going to leave them wanting more when they come back for more home games.
You guys go on the road last week up to North Carolina SC to take on the new kids on the block, a match that certainly meant the world to them. I mean, I described it last week as kind of the season Super Bowl for North Carolina to welcome the defending League One champions into their home stadium. I will tell you, 2-1 victory that I was very, very impressed by, because I think you guys took a good young upstart club that had a lot of energy, had something to prove, was playing to put themselves on the map. Y'all weathered their best shots. They did end up netting one, but late in the game, the resolve was still there for the triumph. That game was a game to me that showed that when the adversity steps in, you guys have the mentality to be able to stare it down. Talk to me a little bit about that match and what you saw from the back of the pitch.
Yeah, every game is going to be different this year, and it's really, League One is just such a gauntlet of a league. And you talk about being the 2020 League One champions. You're probably going to be getting most teams' best, especially when you're going to their place. So with North Carolina FC, it was their first game, very lively group, very unknown group. We weren't able to do a ton of scouting and have a lot of information just with the changes they've made from changing from USL Championship in years past to now being part of USL League One. So some unknowns there. And to be frank, we came out, we were flat. We didn't have the best start to the game, not the start we would have wanted. Obviously scoring a goal 10 minutes in through a penalty from Marios was great, but from a performance standpoint, we weren't on the front foot like we like to be. So, but like you said, the resilience to kind of go in there, go on the road, energetic team that you're playing against, and looking to prove themselves, to kind of have the resolve to come out in the second half, correct some of the mistakes that we felt we made early on, and ultimately get 3 points from a match where we weren't particularly pleased with our performance. So when the mark of a good team is when you're able to still pick up wins and pick up points when you don't play as well as you would like. That's going to go a long way this season. So every game so far has thrown a little something different at us. That one was no different.
Dallas J here on the Rob Brown Show on ESPN Upstate in Dallas. We now turn our attention towards Sunday afternoon. Union Omaha, a get-together that was supposed to have happened for the League One championship last year. Omaha, unfortunately, due to COVID issues, unable to make it down. So this is that. Listen, I feel like they're going to be coming in with a little something to prove. They feel like they should have been at least had the opportunity last year. It got taken away from them. You guys, on the other hand, holding on to that trophy, and because of that, get to be the first USL League One presentation nationally on ESPN2. Listen, I think it would be a little silly to ask you guys, does this have big game feel to you? I think it'd be more accurate to go, when the game like this has a big game feel the way that this one does, certainly to the fans and the supporters, at least, Dallas. Does it change the way you prep and prepare mentally when you've got last year's runners-up, you've got the trophy there, it's going to be on national television? Does it change y'all's approach to this match? Is there anything you do mentally different to get prepared for it?
We've had discussions as players, as a locker room, with our staff, at the start of this week, as we were getting ready to prepare for the weekend match, and mentality going into the week of work leading up to the game is the same for us. It's going to be an incredible occasion for our club, for their club, for League One, to be on national television, which is an awesome thing. And there are these little this storylines and a narrative kind of being built around the game, but ultimately, from our players' perspective, there's not going to be a trophy at the end of this game. It's not the 2020 USL League One championship. Unfortunately, that game didn't happen. This is a game for 3 points in the League One season. They're playing tonight, and a good result for them tonight would put them level on points with us. So it could be a battle for first place potentially. But it's a long season. So I think both teams are going to be coming out flying, wanting to show well, perform well on national TV, but wanting to pick up the 3 points like we do that week in and week out. So definitely some fun stuff for the fans, for the supporters, for the national viewership that we're going to have, the sellout crowd, the COVID sellout that we're going to have. A lot of awesome things there. But for players, it's really just preparing the way we do. We broke down the North Carolina game earlier this week. We want to make some corrections there, and we'll turn our sights to Omaha as the week progresses and try to get a read on them. And, but when we walk out there on Sunday, we're focused on us, what we do, and the areas we want to capitalize in. So exciting occasion, but, as players, you try to stay mentally grounded there.
Dallas J, goalkeeper for your Greenville Triumph, joining us here on the Rob Brown Show and ESPN Upstate. Dallas, a couple more, and then we will get you turned loose. From a personal perspective, and listen, I know when you're on the pitch and you're training and you're getting ready for this match, you want to attack it and approach it like you would any other game to make sure the consistency is there, etc. But for you as a player, and Harks isn't listening right now, so go bananas, say what you want to say. For you as a player, when you know that there is this kind of budding rivalry between Greenville and Union Omaha, you know that Union Omaha doesn't think you guys should have won the title last year since the championship match didn't get to play it, etc. Do you get a little more amped up on Sunday for this, even if you've got to use those mental exercises to bring yourself back level when first kick takes place? Are you a little bit excited about Sunday?
It's interesting because there's definitely that bit there of what could have been last year, and I think the one thing we definitely know about Omaha and their team, just from them being a club for only one season now, is they are a good group of players, very good group of players, well coached, and they were the only team to come in last year. As I mentioned before, our home matches, we only lost one at home last year. They were the ones to do it, so there's definitely a little bit there, but. It's funny because it's so early in the I guess life of this, what some are calling like you said, budding rivalry. I mean, it's a team we've only played one time, which is crazy to think about. There's teams across this league we've played 7, 8, 9 times over the course of the last 2 years. So different things for different teams, but they are a strong side. They're ones that you got to keep your eye on. They're going to be towards the top of the table probably at the end of the season because of the squad they put together and the way they play. So we definitely got to be on it if we want to pick up 3 points. But that's something that this group I think is very much up for.
Dallas J, goalkeeper, Greenville Triumph here on the Rob Brown Show. Couple of questions sent in by the fans when we announced you were coming on the show. And this one, surprisingly, Dallas, I have been asked this question about you multiple times, and I've never gotten to ask you on the air. So here it is. We had someone text into our text line earlier and ask, what is the daily hair routine for Dallas J?
Oh man, it's to be honest, there's not a lot that's going into it, which I probably should be doing more to tame it and keep it going. But for matches, for training, I kind of have this headband / man bun sort of thing going on, which is working right now. But I can say it won't be around much longer. The summer heat is coming to the upstate here soon, and I don't know if I can handle this sort of mop I got going on my head much longer.
Oh,
so
no.
I think the days, the long hair may be up soon.
Ladies and gentlemen, a major announcement here on the Rob Brown Show and ESPN Upstate is we may see a new look in front of the net for Dallas J. I gotta tell you, Dallas, I think there's gonna be some folks disappointed if the trademark locks were to make a disappearance, man.
I just like to think it's shades of the 2019 season. I've honestly had the same haircut pretty much my whole life. So this was my first journey into long hair. It started with quarantine last year. That was kind of the catalyst, and has carried on to now. And it's been a heck of a run. It's been well over a year now, but who knows? Maybe we continue to reel off some clean sheets, and it just it gets beyond me. I won't be able to do it at that point.
All right. I have to chime in here as someone with from the long-haired nation and ask you to not do it. I mean, let the hair be. Let it be. That's all I'm saying. Let it go. It's a trademark, and I'm sure that maybe it's stopped the ball on its own before. It's quite possible. So don't cut the hair, man.
I'll have to get with you off air and get some tips on how to maintain it, because it's the maintenance is another part where I'm just like, I can cut this off now and save myself some time and stress. So I'll have to get with you to get some tips.
Dallas J, goalkeeper for your Greenville Triumph. You can follow him on Twitter at DalJ, DALJAY, and leave your suggestions on cut the hair or don't for the great Dallas Day. Dallas, my man, it's always great to have you on. I appreciate your time. And I got to tell you, man, I've been pumped up for this match on Sunday for maybe more than any other sports event since I got here. I know you guys are going to show out. We wish you the best of luck, and we'll talk to you soon, big dog.
Appreciate you guys. We'll see you out there Sunday. And for everyone who's unable to make it to the stadium, it'll be on ESPN too. So no excuse for not watching it.
No excuse. You have been challenged by Dallas J. You make sure you're watching, because we're going to be breaking it down next week. Dallas, my man, thank you, big dog. We'll see you on Sunday at the Legacy Early.
Thank you, guys. Take care.
You know it. That's Dallas J, goalkeeper for your Greenville Triumph. And Lonzo, of all the interviews that we have done, when he said, I might hack the lettuce, I'm like, this is going to be the spot where Zoe opens up the mic. Watch.
Listen, I'm representative. I can't even say. I'm so upset I can't even say the word.
So distraught, ladies and gentlemen.
You can't cut the hair. It's got to be there, man.
He's kind of made his. You're right. It's kind of his trademark. Like he's kind of been. That's the spot. And my only concern, though, if this becomes
this is like
right?
this, yeah. There's that. You don't want to lose your strength. This will be like if Trevor Lawrence said he was cutting his hair. I mean, come on.
Yeah, that's your thing, dude.
It's your thing. Don't do it.
I will also say, though, he keeps running up clean sheets and wins for the Triumph. He can color it green and cut half of it off if he wants. I don't care. Just keep getting them dubs, man. All right, we're way off the clock. Let's get back. We're back after this. Rob, Lonzo, you. Thanks to Dallas J, Marion Cole in the Greenville Triumph for setting that up for us every week. It's the Rob Brown Show on ESPN Upstate.
The Rob Brown Show. Listen on your...
Dallas, Lonzo, has a future in sports broadcasting when he is done with soccer, if he so wishes to.
Yes, he does a fine job, and he's got a good voice.
He's got a great voice, great personality. Isn't afraid to have a little fun with it. Gotta love it.
Cuts the hair, though. His voice will suddenly be squeaky.
By the way, this is the banner that I had turned into a flag. It'll be stretched out a little bit long ways. The back of the flag will be red, and this will be the logo that's on it.
What are the dimensions of said flag?
3 by 5, I want to say. 3 by 5. I had the option to go like full 10 by 14.
I was going to say 3x5 will cover up one picture.
No, it'll go like it'll be about the frame, which is I just want to fill this frame. That being said, when we can start going back to remotes and whatnot, they also make like a 10 by 14. And when we can start going back on remotes, though, I'm going to buy about a 20-foot collapsible flagpole. And I'm going to buy an ESPN Upstate flag that's about 10 by 14, and it's going to fly up over some remotes.
I was going to say, as long as the company is representative, they kind of want that to be out there too. So we're good. Well, I've got that taken care of. So, you can also, throw that banner up as your banner on the stream if you want behind us. Because I don't know if you noticed what I started doing.
I did. I saw that you made your poster your background.
Because the other background had radio.com on it, and we're no longer that. We're now odyssey.com. And so in order to make sure that I didn't make the mistake and put the wrong banner up there again, I just put my own up there. So you could also do that. The only problem is a lot of it will be covered up, though.
You'll have to show me how to do that, because I don't know.
It's
do that without taking the ESPN Upstate Live and ESPN Upstate logo off of it, because I think they built that for us.
Yeah, that will go on top of it.
Will it?
Yeah. You have to go into.
If I do that, it takes that, because they built the ESPN.
No. There's a separate thing there without actually being in the system. I forget what it's called. It's background. Yeah.
Oh, I had to scroll down.
And what that does, you just import a picture, and that becomes the background behind our panels. So, but the outline will still be there. You teach me things, I teach you things. It's a wonderful relationship.
Beneficially mutual. Mutually beneficial. That's the way it should be.
That's if you want to. I mean, if you do that, though, it kind of eliminates the need for the banner you just bought.
Yeah, true.
But see, the only bad part is, well, that's not too bad.
It's not bad, especially with the name right there. Like the name just lines up perfect.
Yeah. So you can do some cropping and things if you needed to, but that's almost perfect. So
yeah, don't hate it. I might play with it a little bit later. I may actually make one that is a little bit different on the top, so that the upstate shows up better.
Yeah, but you can cut out. You can cut out that corner and just make it white behind it, or a solid color or something.
Yeah,
it's already white. 30 seconds.
Yeah, I'm going to fool around with that later today.
Now let's hear what retired for life in Florida has to say. What is use of everyday wear shoes?
The title of the show is huge on that. You got to love that.
Yeah.
In case you didn't know what show.
Just in.
Opinions wanted.
Well, opinions are like mosaic. Everybody has one.
Call 844-GSP-ESPN. Local sports talk on the Rob Brown Show on ESPN Upstate.
At TChamp_2, my buddy Tommy just tweeted into the show. I think Dallas J just hurt Zoe's feelings on the Rob Brown Show. Zoe said, "Dal, don't cut the do, man. Don't chop the lettuce, fella. Let it breathe. Let it go."
Just some inside here. I have not exactly free reign, but I am allowed to ask questions of the guests. That is the first time that, I mean, other than a wrestling guest, that I've chimed in. But I couldn't sit back and be idle on something so important.
Oh no, Zoe has free reign to crack the mic at any point that he wants during any interview that he wants. I just love Zoe. That of the 5 weeks we've had Rashad Beard on Thursday to talk Panthers. We've had Abe Gordon on to talk Atlanta sports. We've had the Triumph on every week to talk about them. We've had Lordo on from the Rabbits to talk hockey. Of all the sports, the one time, and you've cracked the mic on multiple interviews, but the one time that I knew Lonzo was going to crack the mic was the moment Dallas J said, I think I might chop the lettuce. I heard Zoe scrambling to reach to the red mic button to go, no!
If I may, Lonzo don't know no soccer. Lonzo don't know no hockey. Lonzo knows hair.
Hey, Lonzo.
Yes.
I might have an extra ticket to the Triumph game on Sunday afternoon at 4:00. I'm just saying.
Let me make sure that I don't have a baby shower that I have to go to. Let me consult and I'll let you know.
You know, the one thing about this station between the two shows, ladies and gentlemen, is that those jokes never die. They never die. Quick break to get back on the clock. When we come back here in just a minute, we will wrap up our number one. Plenty more to get into, including the Oakland A's. May not be the Oakland A's much longer. Why? I'll tell you next on the Rob Brown Show on ESPN Upstate.
The Rob Brown Show. Listen on your Amazon or Google Smart.
Josh, appreciate that, man. Yeah, I had this very funny enough story. When I got this gig a year and some change ago. When I got this gig, one of the first things they asked me was, what do you want to name the show? And, you know, they wanted me to go in the direction of Offsides, right? They wanted me to have a name that was kind of catchy, that wasn't just my name. But they left the choice. They said, it's your choice. You can call whatever the show you want, whatever you want, whatever you decide. In fact, Mark Ryan said, hey, man, look, whatever you decide to name the show, it's your show. We will support your decision. So I said, look, here's the deal. I paid a bunch of money at one point. To have these logos and these banners crafted, because I've got like 6 or 7 different ones that I've used throughout the years, right? This one just happens to be my favorite. So I said, I think I'm going to go to the Rob Brown Show, just because all the branding and all the marketing is already done. You know, the Twitter name is the Rob Brown Show. The Facebook page is the Rob Brown Show. The logos all have the Rob Brown Show. Everything has been the Rob Brown Show, because that was just the name of that was the name of my podcast, honestly. I think I've only in the 14 years, this fall will be 15 years. In the 15 years that I've been doing this, I've only had one other show that was called the Rob Brown Show. And that show was my night show. I used to do a show in Destin that was on from 9 to midnight for about a year and a half. And that was the Rob Brown Show. And I didn't pick that name. In fact, the guy who bought and created a network and hired me to do it was like, all right, man, the Rob Brown Show. And I said, I never really liked naming the show after me, right? Because it's not really about me. I'm the host and the facilitator. But I've never really been comfortable with having the show named after me. But when I lost my jobs and I kicked off my podcast, because, you know, every white dude from 30 to 40 has to have a podcast. When I kicked off my podcast, I had a buddy come and go, hey, man, look, I'll trade you some stuff to make you some banners. And I was like, yeah. And then before I even really talked to him, he sent me a bunch of prototype banners that I fell in love with that all said the Rob Brown Show. And I was like, done. That's it. I guess we're keeping it. So when I got the gig here, it basically was, hey, man, the banners and the posters and the Twitter handle are all already the Rob Brown Show. So I think I'm just going to roll with it. And now, Lonzo, that's just a story of why this show is called what it's called.
I thought it was a clever title. I did. Because if your name was like Jacob Bueller, going as the Rob Brown show, it would not have worked. But one thing about putting your name on the show, it's all on you. But that's how you want it, of course. It's going to take some getting used to, though.
Yeah.
Every time I look over, it's like, man, that red looks good.
It does. I kind of like, the more I look at it, the more I like it. I'm going to play with the dimensions, I think, though. I think what I might do is try to create something to where the logo will go at the top of the screen between where it says live on the left and ESPN Upstate on the right. So those will be visible. There'll be a logo at the top, and then it'll still say the Rob Brown Show across the bottom underneath us.
See, looking at this logo, I'm also thinking of some other things. I wish that we could do a thing. You know the old thing where you draw something that looks like someone's looking up over top of something?
Yeah, the old, what was that guy's name? He had a name back in World War II.
Yeah, I forget his name too. It's something simple. It's like a one name. But just having, if you could get those on the edge of the screen, you know, like it looked.
Kilroy. Sorry.
Duh. Yeah, now that song's in my head. But if you can get those like at the top of the screens, that would be really hard to do, though. Yeah. You have to do that just perfect.
Yeah, the biggest challenge we're gonna have here is trying to.
I may start messing with that some on Saturday just to see if anyone notices.
Yeah.
Put some horribly drawn things up there. Because we've been told to play with it. And, you know, you and I play with the StreamYard probably more than anybody else does as far as experimenting and trying to make things work. So it's because we're cutting edge. You know, that's what you do. It's difference between you boys and the show for men.
Somebody
we're cutting edge.
In, I do not want to work anymore today. Like, that's the text they said. I mean, I don't know what I can do to help, but I'm not above trying. Kilroy, that was it. Yep.
I wish I could say that, but I'm having too good of a time to say I don't want to work anymore today.
Yeah, this is a great gig. Like, it's hard to complain about work.
Come back.
Especially when I sit on my couch in pajama pants.
Text us anytime at 71307. Use keyword ESPN followed by your comment. Local sports talk on the Rob Brown Show on ESPN Upstate.
Can I just go on the record real quick and say that having a passion for your fandom is great. Having a love for your team is great. But if you are taking it to extremes, it's an issue. Let me tell you what happened yesterday, Lonzo. So we're at the Clemson, South Carolina game. And I'm not even going to label which team was which. But one team was at bat, and a pitcher hit a batsman. It's going to happen. It's baseball. And then about 3 batters later, he threw another inside pitch. And speaking of, I'm actually going to bring something up about college baseball that I noticed yesterday. Well, I've noticed it all season, but it was very illustrative yesterday. Anyway, throws another inside pitch. The batter turns his hands, all right, kind of check swings, turns his hands, but his hands are brought in close to his body. The ball, though, hits the batter's hand, pops up, catches him in the face, all right? Kind of a scary moment, but he went out, got cleaned up, came back into the game. But a little bit of a scary moment. Well, I will have to tell you what team it is because it'll be obvious once I tell you the story. It was a South Carolina pitcher throwing at a Clemson batter. He didn't throw at the batter, but he threw inside because the batter was. In fact, Mike Stathakis was there. He hooked me up with the tickets. That's how I got to go. And I looked at him and I said, "Dude, they're crowding the plate. I'd be throwing inside all day too." You know. So anyway, the Clemson fans start booing. Boo! Toss him! Get him out of here! Throw him out! And sitting right up in front of us on the rail directly behind home plate were 2 kids. I'd say they were freshmen, sophomores in high school. And they're watching the game and they're scoring the game out and everything. It was kind of cool to see him. Well, there's a dude in the back who is, he's one of those guys keeping his own score, which fine, whatever. He's booing. Get him out of the game, Blue. He's a loser. Is this that? Well, one of the children, high schoolers, turns around and looks at this guy. And the guy screams at the kid, Lonzo, turn around and sit down, loser. And I'm like, dude, really? So I turn around. I'm about 4 rows behind or in front of this guy. I turn around and I go, did you just threaten a child? And the guy responds to me, Lonzo, well, he looked at me first, quote, end quote. Dude, if your fandom is so deep that you are talking trash and threatening a, 13, 14, 15-year-old child, you need to reevaluate your life, bruh. You need to reevaluate your life. You want to talk smack with adults, it's fine, have fun. But that's a kid scoring the game. And he looked at me first. Oh, I'm sorry, 50-plus-year-old man. I'm sorry that your little feelings were hurt. Unbelievable. Quick break. 1 hour left. Rob Lonzo, this is ESPN Upstate.
ESPN Up.
Harley in the first break.
Harley in the first break. Also, Zoe, during the last break, and I forgot to say this, I have a new development. I may have a new ally in my war against the geese outside. About an hour ago, Lonzo, and this has never happened in the year in March, April, May, year in 3 months I've been here. I heard a rooster outside. I heard a rooster. So there is at least now one rooster somewhere on, near, or around the apartment complex. I am working under the assumption that roosters are natural enemies with geese. Mainly because, though, if it turns out that roosters and geese are not enemies, then my life just got worse because roosters are mean little turds.
I was going to, I'm from Columbus, Ohio. I'm from the city. I don't know, even though I've lived out in the country outside, I don't know if they're natural enemies or not. You made it sound like you knew that for sure. Now I'm curious. Someone knows. Someone has seen whether roosters and geese go at it or not.
I have to assume they do, right? Because they're both apex predators in the loosest definition of the word. Neither of them like anything else that is alive.
Which one of them hears voices in their head, though?
Speaking of, did you hear the story about Randy Orton when the first time he met Matt Riddle?
I did not.
He said the first time he ran across Riddle, he expected Riddle to come over and be like, bro, what's up, Randy, bro? And he said Riddle just walked right by him, didn't say anything. And that is where the inspiration for the start of their tag team came about. They just played out what Randy thought would happen in his head, but did not.
So Randy's like, oh, you're not going to give me respect. I'm going to make it a storyline and you have to. That's a veteran move.
ESPN Upstate.
The veteran move was putting Riddle over that day.
Warning.
And check this out.
For an official Rob Brown lockdown.
Represents being real. Yeah.
Real, unfiltered sports talk. Manufactured locally for the Carolinas.
Lockdown.
This is the Rob Brown Show.
Yeah.
Only on ESPN.
ESPN Upstate.
The Rob Brown Show back on your radio. This is ESPN Upstate, 97.7 FM in Greenville, 97.1 FM in Spartanburg, all around the world on the Odyssey app. AUDACY, downloaded. It is your home for all the audio that matters to you. Listen to your favorite music, news, podcast, and, of course, sports with ESPN Upstate. You pick up the Odyssey app, AUDACY, put it on your digital devices, and you won't miss a moment of any of the Rob Brown Show, a moment of Offsides with Mark Ryan and Diesel. You can't beat it. It is your home for broadcasting. It is the Odyssey app. Pick it up now. 844-477-3776, 844-GSP-ESPN. A couple of stories that we have not gotten to so far. The Atlanta Braves, who had a pretty good run out of the bullpen last year. Pretty good run out of the bullpen. Their bullpen ERA last year was like 3.7 in that ballpark, 3.6, somewhere in there. This year, it's been hovering around 5.5, which is not ideal. They let some big names go, but they've just bolstered it a little bit. Relief pitcher Shane Green has signed a 1-year contract to rejoin the Bravos. He was optioned to AAA Gwinnett to get some time to get ready before he returns to the show. 1-0 with a 2.6 ERA and 21 Ks in 27 2/3 innings last season. Braves relievers began Sunday with a 4.56 ERA, ranked 22nd in the majors. Last year, they were a 3.5 ERA. Green was a free agent, and last year was used mainly as a setup man before he eventually moved into a closer's role behind Will Smith, and it looks like he will go back to that setup man rotation in front of Will Smith this year. Brian Snitker said, quote, he showed the benefit in the role he assumed in that very strong bullpen last year. There's a guy that's willing to be able to do pretty much any role in the bullpen. He came to me last year when we had all the starting woes and guys were down and said, I'll start games if you want me to. He's a durable guy. He has a very solid year. And if and when we get him back here, I'll be excited to get him in the mix. The Braves did get reliever Chris Martin back yesterday, missed 29 games with shoulder inflammation. Snitker said the relievers have been under some stress, but, quote, have done a great job, end quote. He went on to say, quote, they've been very big in that series against Washington. And last night, this was, of course, Monday night's game. They lost to the Blue Jays last night. With what those guys did, they've done a really strong job here, handing the ball off to each other and what they've done. But if you add guys like Shane, absolutely, it's going to help strengthen the bullpen, end quote. So a little relief coming out of the pen for Atlanta. To the NBA, New Orleans Pelicans' David Griffin has been fined $50K for criticizing officiating after they lost Zion Williamson for what is likely to be the remainder of the season, as the Pels are basically all but mathematically eliminated from the play-in tournament possibility. They'd have to win out with a very difficult schedule, including a final day matchup against the Lakers, which Anthony Davis and LeBron James should both be back by then. But the executive vice president of basketball operations was not thrilled, said that Zion's fractured left ring finger was avoidable if the NBA did a better job officiating his franchise superstar. Griffin said, quote, we told the NBA through every means available to us, through sending in film, through speaking to everybody in the officials department and everybody in basketball operations, that the way they were officiating Zion was going to get him injured. And quite frankly, he's injured because of the open season that there's been on Zion Williamson. In the paint, he has been absolutely mauled in the paint on a regular basis, to the point that other players have said to him, I'm going to keep doing this to you because they don't call it. There is more violence encouraged in the paint than any player I've seen since Shaquille O'Neal. It was egregious and horrific then, and the same is true now, end quote. So the Pels are, as of now, I believe, a game and a half back from San Antonio, and like I said, would most certainly need some help if they were going to be able to climb back into it. But here's the thing, and, you know, this is one of those reasons, Lonzo, that I don't love admitting, outside of the Saints, because, well, I can't really hide that. I don't always love saying who I am a fan of on my radio shows, because once that team becomes involved in a situation like this and you make a statement, a lot of people run to the position of you're only saying that because you are a fan or because you are a hater, right? It is hard for me to talk about the Saints in a positive light without people calling in and going, Rob, you only say that because you're a fanboy, or to criticize the Panthers without people running to the airwaves and saying, Rob, you only say that because you're a Saints fan and a Panthers hater, when I really do my best to be objectively unbiased when I am on the radio, which is why I think I've been one of the Panthers' biggest fans in terms of what they're doing heading into the 2021 season. But David Griffin is right. And Zion's not the only one. He's just such a different, unique style of player that this impacts him more than anybody else, right? Because Zion is a dude that doesn't just get an inside interior pass on the block or on the elbow and work from there. Zion's a guy who can drive. He's a guy that can put the ball on the floor and make moves to the rack. And Zion gets absolutely beat up when he goes to the rack. He gets, and if you've watched more than a few Pelicans games, as obviously I have, you see that. Zion puts the ball on the floor, makes moves to the rack, and he gets absolutely hammered. I go back to that game about 2 weeks ago. The Pels were playing the Clippers, I think. I don't remember. Whoever it was. They're down. Maybe it was a Spur. I don't remember who it was. Anyway, it was somebody that was in the mix in the West. And it was a must-win game. No, it was the Jazz. It was Rudy Gobert and the Jazz. That's who it was. It was the Jazz. So with 6 minutes left to go, the Pels are down 12. They draw it back to within 2. Zion, with 5 seconds left to go in the game, drives down the right-hand side, elevates to the hole, goes up, and gets absolutely hammered. In a move that the NBA on TNT guys were like, wow, and they don't call it. Rudy Gobert brought his hand, the palm of his hand, down onto Zion's right hand, like right arm, not even close to the ball, like mid-forearm, and just throws it down. No foul is called. Gobert is given credit for a block, and it's a turnover back to the Jazz, who end up winning the game. That's a game that if the Pelicans win, they are a half game back of the Spurs for a spot in the play-in, as opposed to a game and a half and unlikely to progress. But the foul didn't get called. And it is because I think they have created this belief in Zion that because he can play in the interior, because he can get to the rack, because he is the most prolific scorer in the NBA inside of 5 feet, that he just has to play through that, right? He just has to play through that. And David Griffin said that, and this guy's going to get hurt if you officiate him that way. And here we are. Zion did get hurt. He does have to sit likely the remainder of the season. And even if the Pels were to make it into the playoff game, they likely wouldn't have Zion through the play and probably wouldn't have him back until the first, maybe second round of the playoffs, which they won't make this year. The problem I have here, Lonzo, with a $50K fine to David Griffin is that it's not like Griff came out and ripped the NBA only after Zion got hurt. David Griffin had been saying for 3 weeks, this dude is going to get hurt if you officiate him the way that you're officiating him. We have documented spot on camera angles of Zion getting blown up and not getting calls. We have players who have told Zion, if they ain't calling it, I am going to beat you into the ground, and y'all aren't doing anything. He says that for 3 weeks, Lonzo. Then it happens. He says, hey, remember that thing I told you was going to happen? It happened, and you likely just cost us players, and then the NBA gets offended. Then the NBA gets mad after 3 weeks of him prognosticating what was going to happen. It happens, and then they get mad about it.
So Keegan on the stream is saying exactly what I was going to say. It's the Cam Newton treatment. And the same complaints were happening about Cam Newton, that they weren't getting penalties called, and he was getting beat up, and referees were letting things go because of his size. The same thing's happening with Zion, and probably to compare it to another basketball player, he's getting treated like Shaq. But he's not as big as Shaq. Shaq took a lot of punishment and a lot of things that didn't get called. The surprise here is that Zion is not getting the superstar calls. The calls where someone gets barely touched and you're calling again, if it's LeBron or Steph or KD or one of those guys. He's not getting those calls. And I find that surprising for one of the guys who's arguably one of the biggest stars in the game. But it's more him getting beat up because of how big he is.
I agree entirely. I agree entirely. And the thing with Shaq, they used to beat the hell out of Shaq too. But the reason that the thing is Shaq got the calls, the thing with the Hack-a-Shaq treatment was they gave him the Hack-a-Shaq treatment because Shaq was shooting 40% from the free throw line, right? You could send Shaq to the line 100 times a game and he was only going to get a handful of points from the stripe. Zion is a 68, 70% free throw shooter. He's going to make more than he misses. So you can't just send him to the line, but it doesn't stop them from beating up on him anyway because he doesn't go to the line. He doesn't get to the trip. That's exactly right. He doesn't.
And by the way,
LeBron got a trip the other day because a dude waved his arm past LeBron and LeBron got a call.
You can't blame the other team either. If they know that they can get away with it, they're going to do it.
Hell yeah.
This is absolutely on the refs.
Hell yeah. Exactly right. If you tell me that you're only going to call 2 out of every 2 out of every 5 fouls against the 4-5 guy, I'm telling my guys, go in there and beat the hell out, make him black and blue tomorrow. Bruise him up. Of course, you bruise him up. But that's and I guess that's the frustration. That's the point. Is that Lonzo, anybody who pays attention sees that's what's happening. Right? David Griffin said, if y'all officiate Zion this way, he's gonna get hurt. Everybody who's been watching has been saying Zion is not getting the calls that he should be getting. Not superstar calls, not the Jordan rules. I'm talking fouls that are fouls. I've been saying for a minute, y'all, I don't want the NBA to have any different treatment for Steph Curry than they do for Tyler Hero. If it's a foul, it's a foul. And if it's not a foul, it's not a foul. But Zion, I'm not asking for Zion to get superstar calls. I'm asking for Zion to get calls. That's what David Griffin said. He was spot on, dead on accurate. What he said was going to happen, happened. And then the NBA is mad about it. He's mad about it. The NBA goes, oh, you can't criticize us. He didn't criticize. He warned you. He warned you for weeks. If you let them hammer Zion like this and you don't call the fouls that he has earned, you're going to get him hurt. And the crazy thing about this for me, Zoe, is that Zion has become a poster child for the league, right? Turn on every NBA advertisement. Zion's there. Turn on every pregame. Zion's there. Watch every NBA postgame show. If the Pels played, they feature Zion. He is a selling point. He went to a small market and got his own shoes, which is the big thing. Everybody, you can't get your own shoes. If you're not in New York, you can't get your own shoes if you're not in LA or Chicago. Zion did it because he is a money-making machine. Yet y'all letting folks get away with stuff like that on defense? Y'all letting folks get away with stuff like that on defense. David Griffin points it out, is proven spot on accurate, and then you punish the Pels for it. This, Adam Silver, this is why people are not taking the NBA seriously. This right here. That's it. That's the reason. 844-GSPE. By the way, great call. Ben and Cam both said, or Ben and Keegan both said it in the stream chat at facebook.com/ESPN Upstate. And Zoe, I'm glad you pointed it out. It's the Cam Newton treatment, right? We used to, Panthers fans for years complained that Cam Newton used to take shots that other quarterbacks got 15-yard penalties called for and not get those calls. Why? Because he was big and that's how he played the game. Brady takes a finger to the helmet and it's 15 yards. Cam used to get full flag knockout punches to his head and nothing got called. And why? Just because the dude is built and plays unlike anything you've ever seen doesn't mean you should officiate the game differently. Quick break. Back after this. Rob Lonzo and you. This is ESPN Upstate.
Harley.
The Rob Brown Show. Listen on your computer and tablet at ESPNUpstate.com.
Harley Davidson of Greenville wants you on the back of a new Harley Davidson. And they're making it easier and more cost efficient than ever to make it happen. If you bring in your trade right now, they are going to give you up to 120% of NADA value to put towards the cost of a new 2021 Harley. And y'all, these new bikes are beautiful. The new 2021s have new paint options never offered by Harley before, new finishes never offered by Harley before, and they've got all the gadgets, gizmos, and upgrades to make your Harley, your bike, customized for you and as comfortable and enjoyable for you as you could possibly ask for. Look, spring is here. There is no better riding in the country than around the upstate of South Carolina, up into North Carolina, Virginia, Tennessee. We're right here at the heart of it. And there is no better riding than on the back of a 2021 Harley Davidson Plus with over 150 bikes in their pre-owned inventory. If you're looking for something that's not brand new, they've got you covered there too. Check out their showroom at 30 Chrome Drive in Greenville, 30 Chrome Drive, or check out their website. See the entire inventory online at upstateharley.com. It's upstateharley.com. It's Harley Davidson of Greenville.
AutomotiveMap.com.
What flavor we with today, Lonzo? The black cherry is that's a top 3 for me.
Yeah, but it's only one of 3 that I would drink at work. I drink peach, now black cherry, and then I'm going to finish up the workday with some white grape.
What a lovely flight you're taking. The lady friend loves the white grape, but you can only get them over on our side of town, though. You can only get them at one grocery store, and it's way up in Greer. So you got to she has to go on roadies to get them. I am cherry and vanilla 1, mandarin orange 2, black cherry 3. Top 3.
The white grape tastes like grape pop. Of course, you would probably call it soda.
It is soda.
No, it's not soda.
Why do you say it like soda?
Because that's how I hear you say it. Anyone who doesn't call it pop, it sounds like soda.
Yeah, can I have a Captain and soda, please?
There you go.
No, everything is Coke until you ask me what kind of Coke.
That's just weird.
That's a Southern thing.
It is a Southern thing, but it's weird.
Can I have a Coke? What flavor? Oh my God, Keegan put the purple shirt on me in that.
I didn't even notice the purple shirt. I didn't. All I know is I'm Batman. So, that's the only thing I noticed in the entire thing. It's very 8-bit. I love it.
Look at that. I love it. I love it, Keegan. Bravo. Well done. Well done. Also, is that my nose sticking out the top of the stash? Because famously, Lonzo, as you can see, I've got the bald spot right in the middle of the stash here. Like I don't have a connecting mustache, right? Or is
I thought that was a normal thing.
No, it's missing. Like I didn't shave that in there on purpose. I just don't grow facial hair there.
Well, maybe you have a deep whatever that thing is.
I really don't though.
I don't even know what it is. That thing has a name. I don't know what it is. I'm guessing it has a name.
The amygdala. That's not it.
That is not what that is.
What is the amygdala? What?
Good luck spelling that.
I don't think that's even actually amygdala. That's right. That's your amygdala is the part of the brain that's responsible for fear. I'm down, Zoe. I'm down to let fans submit fan art to make a logo of the show. Keegan's our front runner.
Me too.
He even gave me the hair swoop, by the way.
Twitter, tweet at The Rob Brown Show on the Upstate Sports.
I found out what the top of your lips called.
Upstate.
You might as well just say it, Lonzo. You might as well. For those of you not on the stream, Keegan has submitted a new logo for the show. It's an 8-bit logo that features an 8-bit version of Rob Brown and an 8-bit version of Lonzo as Batman in a Super Mario Brothers-esque type background, which I'm in love with. But he went so far. For those of you that have not seen me in person, this is absolutely not so. This is something I realize is going to be dumb to talk about on the radio, but I'm committed to it now. So I go full facial hair. I get the beard and the mustache, but my mustache doesn't connect right under my nose, right? I just don't grow hair there. So I got a bald spot that runs from the bottom of my nose down to my lips. So there's like a spot. And Keegan has ever so kindly incorporated that into, he put me in the purple shirt because of course he did. He gave me the hair swoop because of course he did. And he included the bald spot, which then led to Lonzo and I trying to figure out what that space on your upper lip is called.
Yeah.
And so took the time to research it.
These are the exciting things that we talk about on the stream and you're missing by not checking out the stream, because these are things that pop in your head while you're at work and you go, I wonder what that is. And you Google it and find out. So we just found it out for you. It's called a philtrum. The philtrum is the midline groove in the upper lip that runs from the top of the lip to the nose. The way the philtrum appears is determined genetically.
Thanks, Dad.
There we go. It's all your dad's fault.
Thanks, Dad and Mom. Let's be equal opportunity here. Thanks, Mom and Dad, for giving me this dumb bald spot so I can never actually grow a real mustache.
I wonder if you can attribute that to like your grandpa. They say certain traits like skip a generation, so you could go back to your grandpa and it's like hairlines and things like that.
I don't know, man. I'm mad at my entire family now. And then Keegan had the audacity. By the way, phenomenal logo, Keegan. Really well done. Thank you very much. And also, thanks for including my biggest insecurity. Thank you very much. 844-477-3776 is the number. 844-GSP. ESPN, if you want to jump in here. Clemson basketball. Let's talk Brad Brownell's program for just a moment. South Carolina has worked the hell out of the transfer portal this year. They got 6 guys coming in off the transfer portal in college basketball, where Clemson has noticed and has now gone to the well themselves. Clemson has now added 6'6" shooting forward Naz Bohannon, who is a grad transfer from Youngstown State. The native of Lorain, Ohio, was Youngstown State's all-time leading scorer. Started 117 of 119 games with the Penguins. Averaged 10 points, 8 boards per game. Last season, averaged 16 and 8 per game. Decided to transfer. He said he got a call right off the bat. Said he got to meet Coach Brownell and the rest of the staff, and was immediately excited. Said they talked to him about his playing style. Said they thought he'd fit right into the system. He called it, quote, a match made in heaven, end quote. And obviously, as Amir Sims, who developed into an all-ACC performer this year, is out. The Tigers see in Bohannon a type of versatility that might allow him to fill that hole in the lineup. Bohannon said, quote, they can play me in a couple of different positions. With me being as tough as I am and being a good rebounder, I can come help fill some of that void with Sims leaving and his rebounding numbers being gone. Also, I can add some new flavor to it. Bohannon is also a hammer, man. 31 minutes per game for his entire career, brings a blue-collar working man attitude to the court. He called himself, quote, a junkyard dog at heart, end quote, and said, quote, there's nobody that I fear. Whatever it is, what coach tells me to do, whether it's go get 10 rebounds or try to get 10 assists or go get this tough bucket, I'll do it. No questions asked. I'll do anything I can to help get a win. Vanderbilt, Kent State, and UNC Greensboro were 3 of the other teams he was contending for in the transfer portal, but said that he wanted to test his skills against some of the best talent in college basketball, game in, game out in the ACC. He said, quote, I would say it's a dream come true to play on that level. I'm from a small city in Ohio, not too far from Cleveland, and there's not many who have been able to get to that level or give the hope to kids in our city to get to that level. So for me to be that kid to do that, that means a lot to me. And 2, to get to that level and have the chance to perform and show that I can belong there is everything. End quote. Bohannon will be on campus in 2 weeks. He'll have 1 season to play for the Tigers and becomes the 12th member of the Clemson roster and the second take from the NCAA transfer portal. It's not just, Zoe, about being able to go out there and find guys in the portal that have had success, have had some success. It's about being able to find guys in the portal that fit into your game. And Naz Bohannon seems to be on that list. I'm just happy to say that Brad Brownell is actually making a move to increase the quality of the team this year, as both South Carolina and Clemson next year. I got to tell you, though, I think both teams are on the hot. I think both coaches are on the hot seat. Frank Martin has already shown in that new contract that he's got to prove himself. And I think Brad Brownell is kind of wearing thin around Clemson with the constant close but no cigar. A guy like Naz Bohannon may be a key to help them pushing to the next level, which is something I think Brad Brownell has to do next year.
Well, we're going to see if this is indeed the wave of the future with the transfer portal, building teams that way. We're going to find out for sure with South Carolina and the fact that Clemson is also dipping into it. And there's nothing like bringing someone in who's actually already played and not just coming from high school. Not that there's anything wrong with that, but if you got a player you can look at and you got tape and you can see that they did pretty well where they were, you got to imagine that's going to translate to some points for your team.
Absolutely. And again, that blue collar mentality, I think I think that's more of what Clemson needs. I think they're a blue collar team anyway. Guys like Amir Sims are blue collar players, but I need somebody that's there to gut it out in those games, like the Miami game in the ACC tournament. I need somebody who can gut it out late in the game in March. Like Clemson has basically failed to do the last few years. It's a good pickup. Quick break. We'll come back. One more segment, and then we wrap it up with Twitter trending topics right here on the Rob Brown Show. Rob Alonzo and you. This is ESPN Upstate.
The Rob Brown.
You know how this is going to sound? It's going to sound self-serving, which I just don't do. Have you received any emails in a while? I haven't received an email in 3 hours.
Yes, I've gotten a few.
Okay, that's all I wanted to know. So I just want to make sure the email is working.
Yes, you are.
Not that it's a bad thing that I haven't received an email in 3 hours. I'm fine with that. I just want to make sure that it's still working. By the way, I clear out sometimes 50 emails a day. So it's really weird to not see them. That's the reason why I was asking.
Yo, Keegan is on the absolute flow right now, Alonzo. See if I can get this to show up. Look at what he just dropped as a potential background for the stream.
That's nice.
I don't hate it. In fact, by don't hate it, I mean I love it. He threw the handles and the hashtags on the bottom, gave us that 80s neon look, which I am here for.
Just got to be careful because suddenly, there's copyrights thrown in there and he's like, I did this. I expect money. I'm not saying Keegan would do that, but, I'm always concerned that corporate will go, hey, what are you doing?
Right.
Well, you are working, Keegan, just not for your job.
Hashtag fan art. Keegan going absolute legend status on the show today. I wonder, Zoe, if we can have a background that allows for motion on it.
That's a good question, but it's also, I don't know if that would be distracting.
Yeah, I mean, just like real subtle, not like things bouncing all over the screen.
You mean like a dragon going in and out and just coming out and that might be too much.
I was thinking more along the lines of like, if we do that neon background, could the light like subtly flash like a neon?
Oh, okay.
You know what I mean?
All right.
No, I don't think we need like.
I immediately go to dragons. I don't know.
Yeah,
That's me. Maybe flying monkeys just every once in a while just pop up, look, and then fly away. That would be kind of cool. Or just an occasional picture of Diesel, like he just showed up and then he just leaves the screen. We could do that. 20 seconds.
The Rob Brown Show back on your radio. This is ESPN Upstate. Rob, Lonzo, and you.
Hey, Rob.
Hey,
can
Lonzo.
we get Keegan to do one for that show for men and just be a picture of Statler and Waldorf? Can we do that?
I think you just did, would be my guess.
You think they have any idea who that is?
Yeah, man, the two old Muppet guys.
I'm not talking about.
Oh, you mean the host? No, because they're above such childish things.
Yeah, okay.
They're above such childish things on the Man Show.
That would be really cool to see. I'm just saying.
So here we go, Zoe. Another UFC topic to get your thoughts on as we head towards the end of the show. Negotiations for Jon Jones, 26-1, 20-1 in the UFC, to challenge heavyweight champ Francis Nganou in Jones' heavyweight debut, have apparently hit a bit of an impasse. And we've seen that, right? Jon Jones says that fight against the guy, he wants $30 million for it. What's a huge, huge purse for that fight to happen? Well, that has kind of led to a bit of an impasse. Not to the point, though, that I want to say that Jon Jones doesn't want to face Francis Nganou, because if he did, the 20-ish mil on the table should be enough for him to step into the octagon. I just don't think he wants to go up against Francis at this point, but I also understand maybe I'm just being a bit of a hater there. Well, Dana pitched the idea of having Jon Jones make his debut against former title holder and current number one contender, second in line in the heavyweight division, Stipe Miocic, who is 20-4, 14-4 in the UFC. And Bones has said absolutely not. He has deleted, he sent out a couple of tweets about it, but then immediately deleted them. He said, quote, "Don't get excited, people. I'm not fighting Stipe." And then went on to say, "I'm not here to fight Stipe, but I will defend my belt against him, no problem. I'm looking for the biggest draw, and I'm willing to wait. 33 years old and a better athlete right now than I've ever been before. I'm just going to keep training my ass off. I'm sick of hearing the same bleep. You're not a big enough star. You don't bring in enough pay-per-view. I'm ready to fight fights that will bring in the pay-per-view," end quote. I get where he's coming from. He is one of the biggest draws in the UFC. He is one of the biggest draws in the game right now.
Really? When's the last time he fought?
Oh, I'm not saying that it's deserved. I'm just saying that he is. To me, Zoe, this seems like a cop-out, right? He wants $30 million to fight Francis. That money ain't there. Dana says, all right, well, we'll have you fight Stipe in your debut. You go win that fight. You are the number one contender, and you got to fight, and you got to win, and it's in the heavyweight division, and you're a legitimate number one contender. Then that fight looks more like a $30 million purse fight for Jon Jones. And Jones says, nope, I'm not here to fight Stipe. I'm here to fight Nganou, but I also want you to give me the biggest purse of all time to do it, even though I've never been in that division. I'm not going to be so bold to say, Zoe, that it makes it sound like Jon Jones is trying to sidestep that Ngannou fight that he personally called for. I think he called for it under the belief that Dana wouldn't give it to him. Dana tried to give it to him, so now he's taken every hurdle, putting every hurdle in the path of that fight to prevent it, because I'm running out of other ways to look at this. I got a hard time taking Jon Jones at his word on this.
He was moving up to fight Stipe. Why does he not want to fight him now? Exactly. Oh, maybe because Stipe is no longer the champion, and he feels like, I'm Jon Jones, I automatically deserve a title shot instead of, I mean, it may work for lower weight classes, and it absolutely has, where a champion has went up or down and fought for a championship, but those made more sense. The only thing that makes sense for him is for heavyweight is for him to earn his way, because he's never fought heavyweight, right? He's never fought. And bulking up doesn't necessarily mean it's going to translate from light heavyweight to heavyweight. And I know that Daniel Cormier did it, but it doesn't mean that he can. And there's also the history of, can he stay clean? So many other things coming into play. Is he one of the biggest stars in the UFC? Yeah, he still is. But you know what? It would make more sense to go up and fight Stipe. That's still a big fight. And then if it really is about the money, do what it takes to earn that big purse. Take the fight, and then after you beat Stipe, if you do, then fight Nganou. But these negotiations always happen this way, and then they'll come down on the purse a little bit, and then the fight will happen. He doesn't want to fight Nganou. Jones does not look good the last couple of times he's fought. Yeah, he's won, but it's been pretty close to him not winning. And he doesn't. France is on top of his game right now. He does not want any of that. His best bet to prove himself as a heavyweight would be to go up against a Miocic, who did not look good last time. And maybe he's scared of him, but really it comes down to him being arrogant and thinking he deserves more than he does.
I think it does, right? I think it does. I think that's got to be a part of it, right? And maybe let's say
he'll probably retire tomorrow and then come out of retirement, like next week. It's a ploy that other people, McGregor's used it. Other people have used that. They've retired and, I just don't want. And it's all a negotiation tactic.
Oh, I agree with that. If we take Jon Jones at his word, all right? If we take him at his word, I'm looking at it and going, why do you think that your fight moving up a division against a guy who just won the belt, why do you think that you are worthy of the biggest payday in the history of the UFC? Right? Now I would go so far to say, though, and look, he's lost one fight in the UFC, but he's never been at the heavyweight level. I could argue that he's one of the bigger draws in the UFC. He's got a huge fan base. He's lost a bunch of his fan base. He's got a big fan base. But what leads you to believe that you are worth the biggest payday in the history of the UFC before you've ever stepped in the canvas in that division to take on a guy who has worked his way literally from the bottom to the top, right? No. And I'm here for athletes getting paid. If you've been following the show, I am here for athletes getting paid. I think athletes deserve more than they get, especially in a business as dangerous as the UFC is. But no, man. You can go fight Stipe. You can go get 17, 18 mil out of that fight and prove to me that you deserve to be in the heavyweight division. Because right now, though, if we had a Bones Stipe fight coming up this weekend, I don't know that I'd favor either one of them. I think it'd be an even money fight, right? That's an even money fight. That's plus 100 to go in both directions, as far as I'm concerned. So why would I put you up against the guy who just beat Stipe when I don't think you would be favored against the guy who lost to him? I don't get it. I don't get it. UFC fans, you're welcome to chime in 844-477-3776, 844-GSP-ESPN, or text us on the Ingles Market text line at 71307. You wanted to add something, Zoe?
No, I just
for the mic button.
Yeah, I was actually someone texted me and I was making sure I wasn't the boss. So I will say this though, if you want to prove something, you were already going to fight Stipe. Go fight Stipe. Go out there and knock him out and then get on the mic and say, Francis, you're next. I mean, do that. Then you get 2 paydays. You get paid, and then you get that payday you want. Why not do that?
Yeah, exactly the right question. All right, let's take a break. We'll come back. Next up, everybody's favorite game. We talk about what you're talking about on Twitter, trending topics. That's next on the Rob Brown Show. This is ESPN Upstate.
QC Kinetics.
Our friends at QC Kinetics right here in Greenville and Asheville offer non-surgical regenerative therapy. That means if you're having those knee problems, lower back problems, hip problems, wherever you've got a joint that's hurting you, they can help you feel better, faster, naturally without having to cut you open, without having to slice and dice you. They offer an orthobiological therapy. They go in and they let your body heal itself. They act as a catalyst for those natural healing abilities that help to restore the connective tissue in your joints that wears down over time, that leads to that inflammation and that pain. You do it right there in their office. You're going to meet with Dr. Richard Schaefer, MD. You're going to go through the therapy right there in the office. It's like an outpatient procedure. You're in, you get the therapy, you're back out, and you're back to your day-to-day life. And that's what they ultimately want for you. They want you to get back to living your day-to-day life without pain, without discomfort, and without fear that your favorite thing will actually hurt you more than it will give you enjoyment. And it's very, very easy to get started. Go to their website at qckinetics.com, 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 or give them a call right here in Greenville at 864-448-3772, 864-448-3772. Mention the Rob Brown Show. Get that consultation for free and get feeling better, faster, naturally with our friends at QC Kinetics. Lonzo, they have committed. Oh, he's not there. Doesn't deserve it, says Miss Lisa. Jon doesn't deserve it. Yeah, I mean, what's he done at that division to propel him to the front of the line, right? What has he done at that division to jump the line? But one of the big problems you have is that your number one contender right now is Stipe, right? Do we want a second Nganou Stipe match after what we just saw in the last one? I don't really have a ton of interest in that fight, to be honest with you.
Yeah, I am concerned, especially the way Stipe looked coming out to the ring and how he fought. I'm sure he doesn't want to go out that way, but I think you got to beat him again in the lower weights. And I get that it's probably not fair that lower weights can move up and move down, but the heavyweights is where the money is, where everybody is excited about. And you can't just come in and do that. I just really don't think you can.
Yeah.
By the way, a weird thing occurred in the office today. The air conditioner started working, which hasn't worked in like 6 months or something like that. The air works fine, but it just hadn't come on in the office. And it's like an ice box in there. So weird. I regret moving to underneath the vent. One minute. I'm sitting there and all of a sudden I hear a noise. It's like, what is that? And then my hair started moving. It's like, huh? oh, that is great. That is excellent.
The trombone players and fishing reels easily sealing the deal.
So well done.
Keegan has just decided to make himself a legend today, is what's happened. Oh man.
I need that for a poster to put on the wall in the office. Or maybe put on someone else's wall, on someone else's office.
So I've decided when we get back in studio, fingers crossed, knock on wood, and all other.
You're gonna come back, make it quick.
I'm gonna hang the Rob Brown Show flag.
And now the Rob Brown Show presents Twitter Trending Topics.
It is time for Twitter Trending Topics, where I tell Rob what is trending on the internet, and he tells us what he knows about it. Great work, man. Great work. I only wish that we could share with everybody, and maybe we will.
I'm telling you, you guys got to watch the stream. If the stream's not part of your day, you have to watch the stream. Stuff goes down in there that will crack you up.
Especially if you are a fan or not a fan of that show for men. That's all I can say. All right, the first thing that is trending is Chick-fil-A.
Chick-fil-A is trending because they have announced that they are at they are having supply chain issues right now. Said that they are having a shortage of selected items right now, including Chick-fil-A sauces. They're having a hard time getting it around to the place it needs to be, which if you, like me, have some regular appearance at Chick-fil-A in your daily schedule, let's say weekly schedule, could be problematic.
So I do not. I like Chick-fil-A, but I don't like waiting in line. Can you eat Chick-fil-A without the sauce? Because I think that the food's good enough to eat it without the sauce.
The sandwich, yes. The nuggets, no. And I do love me some Chick-fil-A nuggets. Now,
if you get the grilled nuggets, they taste fine on their own.
That's just a cut up chicken breast, bro. Can we talk about that's just cut up chicken breast?
It's healthier for you.
Why wouldn't you just get the bread and the lettuce and the tomato and have a sandwich?
Because I like the nuggets. There's I don't know. It just tastes different.
The goat fried chicken, Lonzo, is Popeye's chicken. I stand by that.
Get that devil chicken out of here.
Chicken.
Yeah, it's the devil chicken, and it's the anti-Chick-fil-A chicken. And they've recently tried to put some heaven in their commercials, but they ain't working. Everybody knows.
Popeye's chicken, the goat chicken, straight up.
All right, the next thing trending are the Chiefs versus the Browns.
Chiefs versus, that's a very specific Twitter trending topic.
Last I checked, there was like 24,000 tweets on it.
Yeah, well, that is because the Week 1 NFL schedule is out. The rest of the schedule will be announced this evening. We'll have a breakdown for you tomorrow. But week number 1, the defending AFC champion Kansas City Chiefs will open against the upstart Cleveland Browns, a team with a playoff win last year. I suspect the Chiefs end up not heavily favored, but relatively heavily favored in that one, Zoe. But if you're the Browns, you know what it will mean for your season to be coming off of a playoff win against Pittsburgh and then knock off the reigning AFC champs. There's a handful of games I got circled week 1. Saints-Packers is one, no doubt about it.
This is a
Browns is circled in red.
It's a statement game for the reasons that you said for the Browns, but also for the Chiefs to show if their offensive line woes have been shored up, because they're going up against a defense that got even better with the Cleveland Browns. So will Patrick Mahomes stay upright? Looking forward to that week 1 matchup. The next thing trending is Carol Baskin,
who completely and entirely murdered her husband and fed him to a tiger. I do not know why Carol Baskins is trending today. I am assuming it is not because she murdered another man. She to a tiger?
Yeah, she was on CNN as a tiger expert talking about escaped tigers and possible murders with tigers. Apparently, I don't know. I don't think it had anything to do with her, but apparently she's an expert on that also.
All right, ordinarily, I'm not in favor of bringing reality stars on as experts in anything other than reality TV, but let's keep in mind what's happening in Houston. Remember, we talked about that tiger thing on Monday. Number 1, the guy with the tiger escaped, and I was curious as to why they would say he escaped, but it turns out, per Houston PD, he is still on the run and is currently out on bond for murder, which makes Carol Baskins literally the best person in America to speak to, because if there's anybody who knows anything about murder and tigers, together, it's Carol Baskin.
There you go. That's why she's trending. All right, the last thing we have time for, Rock and Roll Hall of Fame.
The Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. I also saw Rolling Stone trending earlier in the day. I do not know who else is in the class this year.
I will tell you.
I know that Randy Rhoads is in, and I will throw the horns up for that.
The inductees have been announced, and he's like a special inductee. But the 6 that made it are Jay-Z, Carole King, the Go-Go's, Tina Turner, Foo Fighters, and Todd Rundgren.
Foo Fighters going in while they're still active is interesting, but so is Jay-Z, I guess. Tina absolutely deserves to go in. Carole King, I love Carole King. Don't judge me. Say whatever you want. I don't really care. I love Carole King. I guess so, and I'm not a complaint. It is what it is. I guess we've just kind of hit the point where all music is rock and roll now.
Yeah, I really have a problem with that, but apparently it is. Not even the, the R&B wing of the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame or, the whatever, but no, it's all rock and roll.
Yeah.
I guess Billy Joel was right.
It's all rock and roll to me, baby. That's it for the show. The show for men, Offsides with Mark Ryan and Diesel, is up next. Make sure you stay tuned for that. Gonna be a great day. Y'all enjoy the rest of it. We're back tomorrow. Rashad Beard joins us. We'll be talking a bunch of Panthers tomorrow on the Rob Brown Show and ESPN Upstate. Later. See you, dudes and ladies. Thank y'all for watching.